Are we live?
Yep.
Can everybody hear me? I guess we're not. We're viewerless right now. Today's the best day of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if anybody is filing in here, welcome to the official NFL draft reaction. I have not been this excited in 5 years. That was when the Dolphins had pick 6 and 16 back in 2021. They have 11 and 30 tonight. So many ways tonight can go. Only one way the first overall pick can go, and that is Fernando Mendoza, number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. Has been set in stone for a while, and as you can see here on the screen is my big board. I'm a Sonny Styles guy through and through. I love Sonny Styles. If I had the first pick in the draft, I would take him. That's not going to happen. If I'm a Tennessee Titans, I'm taking him at 4. I think he'll be there. The debate's going to be likely him and Jeremiah Love, who I have at 2. Love, Downs, who do you have? 2, 3. I kind of flip-flopped them. I love Caleb Downs. Jeremiah Love, I mean, he's going to be a superstar running back in the NFL. It's the big question of this draft, positional value. Where do you value the positions? That's going to be the big question for the teams at the top. And I think this draft, it really starts at 3 with what the Cardinals are going to do, but it's also because we don't know who the Jets are going to take, whether it's going to be Arvell Reese or David Bailey. It seems like right now maybe David Bailey is the favorite, but let's take a look before we begin here at my mock draft. So this is what I have, what I did a little bit on air and have posted on the website as well. This is my mock draft as of right now. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza going 1, no question there. I have Arvell Reese there right now. I flip-flopped this for the last 3 months. Arvell Reese, David Bailey, who's going to go 1, who's going to go 2, who's going to go 3. To me, Arvell Reese makes more sense if you're the Jets because he is the prototypical edge rusher. He's got the high ceiling and could project later on down the line. David Bailey, of course, is the more polished edge rusher that'll come in right now, rush the passer, but he's got concerns in the running game. 6 minutes to go until Roger Goodell will step to the stand and say a few words. I'm sure TJ Watt will be up there. Some Steelers legends will be up there. Maybe we'll see Ryan Shazier, who came up, I think it was the 2022 draft when Ryan Shazier hit the stage a couple years after his terrible injury that cost him his career. I have projected a trade at 3rd overall. I feel like the Cardinals have to do something. They have to trade this pick. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense for the Cardinals to sit there at 3 with what they can get. And I think the Chiefs make so much sense to move up from 9 to 3 to get that edge rusher, David Bailey. Whether it's Bailey, whether it's Reese, I think if you're the Chiefs, you'd prefer Bailey because he is so polished, because he had 14.5 sacks last year. So that's what I have happening. The Chiefs going up to 3. The Titans fans, I'm sure you're watching. I mean, it's a tough debate. So for what you do at 4, I do not understand how you take a running back at 4th overall with the position they're in, and primarily because of the running backs they already have in place. Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, 2 great young running backs. You can win with those guys, especially with a quarterback like Cam Ward, and they need defense. That's been no secret. It's been the plan all offseason. They need defense, and Sonny Styles is potentially the captain of the defense if you draft him, and I think he would do wonders and Robert Saleh's defense. Is kind of just a perfect marriage there. So I do have Sonny Styles going forward to the Titans. A lot of people are saying Jeremiah Love, and I think it definitely could be. Mike Borgonzi said the highest impact player. You could argue that's Love. I think it's Sonny Styles. I think what he'll do to the defense is more than what Love could even do to the offense. Number 5, I do have Jeremiah Love going here on the board. I think Love is the ceiling, the absolute floor for him in this draft is the 5th overall pick. I don't think he goes below 5. How it is at 5 is kind of wild. So I have the Cardinals trading down from 3 to 9, then back up from 9 to 5. I haven't seen any mock drafts do this, but we saw this in 2024, right? Monty Awesome, Fort Cardinals general manager, loves to move around, loves to wheel and deal, go up and around the board. He did that in 2024. They went from 3 down to 12, back up to 6, got Paris Campbell. I could see them doing that here, going from 3 to 9, back up to 5 to get the running back. And, you know, it's a little weird to then trade up for a running back. But if you look at it another way, where with all the trades, they end up getting a 3rd round pick and they give up a third next year and a 4th next year. Or they give up a 3rd next year, a 4th this year. They get a 2nd next year, but they also get a 1st rounder this year in the earlier trade, which is key for this reason. it means they don't have to worry about trading back up later in the draft to eventually draft Ty Simpson, who I do project the Cardinals will take later on in this first round with, of course, this trade. They get the 29th overall pick. The Browns are so fascinating because what are they going to sit there and take the tackle? I don't think – is Maui Noah, is he on the level of a top 6 pick in this draft? If we're looking at the board, which my board, I do have Carnell Tate a little bit outside the top 10. I think, we kind of got lost in the sauce the last few months talking about the tackles for the Browns, the need they have there at tackle. But it seemed like for a while Carnell Tate was sharpied in there to the Browns at 6 overall. And I've kind of gone back to that. I think Carnell Tate would make a lot of sense there. But if Carnell Tate doesn't go 68, he's not lasting long. I think he probably does go 7 to the Commanders. The Commanders, they're in a heck of a spot. If I could be any team in this draft, I'd be the Commanders. I love this 7th spot because no matter what, you're going to have one of these guys fall. And it's whether it's the lane, whether it's the tackle, or one of my favorite players in this draft, and Caleb Downs. I mean, they got to be running the podium to take Caleb Downs. He'd fit so well in that Commanders defense. And I just think he makes a lot of sense for Washington. The Saints, this to me also makes a lot of sense. Mansour Delane is a LSU guy right in their backyard. They need a corner, need tons of help in the secondary. Mansour Delane, sticky coverage. I mean, this guy sticks on you. Some question marks about maybe what he did in 2024 with Virginia Tech. But last season, 2025 with the LSU Tigers, about as good as a cornerback you will see maybe ever. And that's why I have him going 8th overall to the Saints. Now, my number 1 cornerback on the board. If injuries didn't exist and Jermon McCoy played last season at the level he did in 2024, Jermon McCoy would be our number 1 corner. But the red flags are there. And if we do go actually switch over quickly to the big board, as you can see here, it's not far off. I've got Jermon McCoy, Mansour Delane, have them mano a mano. Actually, I'm mistaken. I actually have McCoy over Delane. I went back and forth on this. I think McCoy is a better player. I think if he is healthy, he will be the better corner in the National Football League. The question marks on the knee injury. Walter, I see your comment. Let's go Dolphins. I'm a diehard Dolphins fan. We have 11. We have 30. And that's a perfect segue into the continuation of my mock here. So, again, crazy trades. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the craziest nights for trades we've seen in a while because this board is all over the place, right? There's only about, it varies, but I'd say about 12 to 20 true first-round talents that everybody agrees are going to go in the first round. Outside of that, I mean, really, the board from 15 to 50 is all over the place. And so who knows who's going to have who ranked where, and that's the question. And I think it's going to end up having a lot of trades because you're going to have teams that are going to pinpoint guys that they have ranked higher than everybody else. And you'll see that more in the middle round. So the Giants, they make the decision to pass on Jeremiah Love. Listen, if he's there at 5, I understand why you take him. Cam Scatterbo and Tyron Tracy are 2 great running backs. I don't subscribe to the idea that you take a running back in the top 5 unless there are two reasons you do that. You have a need at running back and you have a team that's ready to win. It's rare that you'll have a team picking in the top 10. Did they have that scenario? But unless those 2 things are satisfied where you need a running back and everyone else around the running back is ready to go, I don't see it when you have other positions of need on the board. Giants, this is a smart decision here. Take Francis, trade down, take Maui Noah. It's a great first pick for Jim Harbaugh. And then obviously because of the trade, 9 and 10, they've got back-to-back picks. I think 10 is definitely a likely landing spot for Jordan Tyson if he makes it there. We could see him go 8 to the Saints. We could see him go 9 to the Chiefs. Jordan Tyson, one of the most fascinating prospects in this draft. He is, as we take a look back on my big board here, he is the number 1 receiver on my board. I've got him here at 9th overall, top receiver in this draft. The talent just oozes off the tape, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I watched some tape. I'm not a scout. I don't do this. I don't scout players for a living, but I love ball, love watching ball in my free time. I love just lobbing on some tape, watching some guys, and Jordan Tyson just jumps off. I mean, this guy, the route running at the point of attack, his break is just really impressive. Long, tall, is fast, can jump. Did the workout for teams. We didn't see the workout. We knew that he had caught about 22 balls, dropped 1 ball, which was the story from that. Apparently it was enough for the Giants. We're going to find out in a couple minutes time here as we go back to the mock draft. And so 11, a lot of things. What an honor and a pleasure it is to welcome in this individual right here. 11 is like, there's so many different ways the Dolphins can do this, and let's bring him in here.
Yes,
The resident Giants fan, Alex Gajevich Prodich. I'm not an anchor. I don't have to read it, but AGP officially. The Giants, man. So we were just talking about it. What I have here, I have the Giants going from 5 down to 9 and having 9 and 10, which I think anytime a team can go back to back, they love that. You get, you're normally used to be 20 minutes. Now it's 16 minutes as we're taking a look here at the screen. Who is that? Is that who's on the screen there? That's Cameron Hayward. And is that TJ Watt? Obviously, the draft's in Pittsburgh. They're going to have the Steelers guys out there as Roger Goodell. What is Roger wearing? Is that navy or black? Is he wearing all black? He's ready for the booze.
Yeah.
He's always ready for the booze.
Black.
If you had your perfect world as a New York Giants fan, who of course own picks 5 and picks 10, yeah, that is navy with the jeans.
Yeah.
What's your perfect scenario for the Giants?
So I'm taking Sonny Styles at number 5.
I love it.
The Giants have not had a first-round linebacker since Carl Banks, and they haven't had like a real serious linebacker that teams would take seriously and game plan against since Antonio Pierce. So that would be my pick at 5, and there are some other picks I'd be okay with, but that's like where I have my heart set. Number 2 would probably be Caleb Downs because we know what type of defensive player he could be, especially on a
he's awesome.
Wilson defense. And then number 10, I mean, I've sort of looped myself into talking about Jordan Tyson because there have been the rumor this last few days ever since the Dexter Lawrence trade. Malik Neighbors, he may not start the season 100%. Jackson Dart needs an extra weapon. But honestly, I would go O-line at 10 for me. I would take Ione out of Penn State. I would even maybe take Maui Goa if he's still there. Because solidifying this offensive line, that's what John Harbaugh is about. That's what this team is about. The Giants don't have any long-term solutions outside of Andrew Thomas. John Michael Schmitz is a question mark. John Runyon's a free agent in 2027. Jermaine Illuminor they extended, which was a great job.
Former Dolphins, Jermaine Illuminor, yeah.
Exactly. Former Dolphin, but he's been really solidifying this offensive line for the last few years. But the Giants need to keep building on that. They need to start thinking like the Philadelphia Eagles, who constantly go into every draft thinking about the trenches.
Always.
And they may do that tonight.
I think they probably will. Olaiva Vega Ioane, the guard from Penn State, probably the safest player in this draft. So let's go. Let me pop back up. So
I'm
here,
going to get my mock draft.
So yeah, he's got a mock draft printed out. We got mock drafts up the wazoo. This is it. I've been doing mock drafts, not officially. I only have one official mock draft that I go on record with. But I've been doing mock drafts on the mock draft sites endlessly for the last 4 months. But this is the last opportunity you have to do a mock draft. So get them in. You've got about 2 minutes. Actually, it's already 8:04. As Hines Ward has hit the stage, ladies and gentlemen, for the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. And so as you can see here, I've got more trades because why not? Trades. I love trades. I think we're going to get a lot. Normally I'm the trade guy. Normally when I come into a draft season, I'm like, I love to just cook up some trades. I don't know. This year early on, I was kind of like, we're not going to see that many trades this year. But then the last couple weeks, the rumors have been swirling and I've been thinking about this scenario and that scenario. And it's like, oh, the Lions are going to be aggressive. And if the Lions, Caden Proctor is one of them, another fascinating prospect. Nobody knows where most of these guys are going to end up going. They could go in such wildly different ranges. But Caden Proctor, I think if you're the Lions, you might have some concern with the Rams. But more importantly, you have concern about the Eagles trying to jump you. The Eagles here at 19, I do have them making a trade. But if they were to move up ahead of 17, which is where the Lions are, that's when you can lose out on Proctor. I think the Lions, could be wrong. I think they're set on Proctor. I think he makes a lot of sense for him. Had some tough moments at Alabama, had some great moments at Alabama. Big, strong, athletic, a freak. I think that the Lions would love to slide him in there on the other side opposite Penei Sewell. They might move Penei Sewell to the left side and then have Proctor to the right side. Spencer Fano to the Rams. The Rams taking a receiver here would be cool, but to me, it's like if you're Los Angeles, I mean, like there's the depth of this draft, Alex. It's at receiver, so you got to take advantage of having a high pick. You can get a DeZon Stribling. You can get maybe a Ted Hurst even. You could get a Skylar Bell in the 3rd round on day 2, whenever that is. I just don't know you want to. I don't want to say burn, but use a top 15 pick if you're the Rams on a wide receiver when you got a guy like Fana who could be there. And then to me, the easiest pick I think I had was this one right here. If Oleva Vega Ioane is there on the board for the Ravens, they're going to take the guard. They need the guard. And again, probably the most polished prospect in this draft, plug and play, immediate dominant guard. Look at that crowd in Pittsburgh.
Beautiful city.
See,
Pittsburgh's beautiful city.
This is why this thing is just awesome. This draft is awesome.
It's Christmas.
I'm sorry. I got to mute this. I got to hear what Adam Schefter is saying. 1 second. All right, I decided that he's just talking about Fernando Mendoza. Listen, if Schefter comes on the screen, I have a duty to listen to what he is saying because he might be breaking news at any moment, which is one of the greatest things about what this is, the greatest thing maybe on earth, the NFL draft. Things are happening in front of our very eyes. We don't know how this is going to go. We do know that man in Coral Gables, Fernando Mendoza, is going to be very happy very soon. I love this draft, Alex. I've said it many times. There's a lot of different ways this board can go. We're going to find out here shortly so many different scenarios, so many different trade-ups. I had in my mock draft the Chiefs trading up from 9 to 3. I know you don't have any trades in your mock, which we can
there's a few, but it's a little later on.
Oh, you have them later on. So there's one trade. It's maybe tough to read here, but he's got so the big one we'll talk about for a moment. Jeremiah Love, 4th overall to the Tennessee Titans, and kind of what you were talking about with Sonny Styles. On that note, right? Like, I don't know if Sonny's going to be there. I think Sonny is either going 4 or 5, Titans or Giants. Maybe the Cardinals surprise some people and take him at 4. The debate, man, with the Titans is a big debate because it's unfortunate if you are Tennessee because we talk so much about positional value, especially in this draft, and you're going to end up taking what we would call a low value positional player, whether it be a running back, whether it be a linebacker. And when it comes to positional value, the only true way to actually decipher how much these positions are worth is just looking at the NFL salary, per position, and they're on the way lower end for running back, lower end for linebacker, lower end for safety, obviously highest end by far quarterback, and then offensive tackles, edge rushers, kind of right there, 2, 3 wide receivers, corners, and then you get into defensive tackle. Defensive tackles are kind of right up there with the receivers and the corners, and then you get into the linebackers, safeties, running backs at the bottom. Again, you can find high quality running back play in the 3rd round, in the 4th round. This year, I will say the depth of the running back position is not what we've seen the last couple of years where it was considered a lot better. I don't use a 4th overall pick on a running back unless, as I mentioned earlier, I'm in position, right? I need a running back. I've got an open area for it, and the rest of my team is ready to win now. It's rare we have teams ready to win now in the high part of the draft, but we do have it this year. Ravens at the top, Chiefs in the top 10, Rams top 15 as well.
And I'll say this as well. You mentioned the Cardinals as a possible fit for Jeremiah Love, and I'm a little biased. I'm a Notre Dame fan, but I just don't think he should be the fit for the Arizona Cardinals. They only have a few picks this year. They got a new coach in Mike LaFleur. There's not a lot of great projection right there. They got Jacoby Brissett right now as their starting quarterback, who they're having some contract issues with because he's only getting paid like $9 million. So there's a lot of question marks around this team, and it may just be another developing year before they go into next year and the year beyond that. So I think what you were suggesting is them trade down a little bit, try to still get a blue chip player, and then kind of move forward off of that.
Well, so I have the Cardinals trading down, then trading back up. It's sort of the Michael Bidwill special, if you will, and Monty Ossenfort. If you kind of get a sense of what the Cardinals like to do, they've got a general manager, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Our first pick is in. They did that. They took about half of the time. Remember, 8 minutes this year, not 10. They got it in. I think about 3:50 was on the clock when they got that pick in. I always think that's just so fascinating, right? A lot of teams that have the first overall pick when they know everyone knows who they're going to take.
Yeah.
Sometimes they like to take all the time and just wait for someone to wow them with a trade. I was thinking there's no the Raiders are I cannot remember a more perfect marriage, they're so far ahead in the process of this marriage. It's almost like he's been on the Raiders for 3 months. They've sent him the playbook. He's talked with Brady. I mean, this is more set in stone of a draft. We've had a lot of these first overall picks set in stone. This might be the most set in stone draft pick ever in this draft as far as, no one has ever questioned it for a moment. And a big reason for that, obviously, the need. And then, of course, the fact that he's the only quarterback worth taking in the high part of this first round.
Absolutely. And I think what the Raiders did this offseason, they had a lot of cap space. They went out to free agency. They secured a couple of different free agents. The biggest addition by far is Tyler Linderbaum. And getting a good center who was, great with the Ravens and bringing him in his first year with the Raiders, then Fernando Mendoza being a rookie coming in, that center quarterback relationship is very important. I think if the Raiders do things right in this draft, it could be a very bright future for them.
Absolutely. And it's going to come down to the rest of the picks as Roger Goodell might be making his way to the stage. Yes, here he comes. We're playing some Fernando Mendoza highlights on the screen. I'm going to have to mute this so I can hear Roger Goodell make the official announcement that Fernando Mendoza will be the first pick in this draft. And so there it is, Fernando Mendoza, officially the newest member of the Las Vegas Raiders. It's a perfect marriage. Obviously, going to be getting to work with Tom Brady, and you're seeing the highlights there on the screen. I mean, all the tools, all the measurables, and I think the biggest thing when you're looking for a quarterback, to me, it's all about it factor. And time again last year, this man showed the it factor in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State in the biggest moments. Throughout, the first two playoff games, he didn't really have to do anything. They were so dominant. Crazy to think about. We're talking about Indiana football, just how great of a year they did have. But in that Miami game, when he had to make the play, just bullying his way through for a touchdown to eventually win the game, that's the difference. And that's why this was a no-brainer, and it's never been a no-brainer. I mean, we've been talking about it for 3 months now, how there you see Coral Gables. Look at the heck of a party he's got there. Crazy to think, that this party is in Coral Gables, of course, the location of the University of Miami, the team that he beat in the national championship. First pick is in the books. And so look at this. The clock is already down to 4:50, which is such a welcome change. The clock going down from 10 to 8. I love the drama. I don't mind waiting from pick to pick. I love to soak this in. Me personally, I'm a sicko, but I'll tell you what, for as far as speed is, we're moving right along to already have 4:30. So here we go. This is the debate we've been having for quite a while. Alex, is it Arvell Reese or is it David Bailey?
This is where the draft can really go in a couple of different directions. I have Arvell Reese on my mock, and I think, do you have Arvell?
I have Arvell Reese on my mock as well.
Going to the Jets?
Going to the Jets, number 2 overall. And I don't know. I'm really unsure about it. We can switch back here to the mock where I do have Arvell going. I mean, I don't know. The closer we get to the pick, and again, I think I had Arvell Reese from January to late February, and then from March to yesterday, I had David Bailey. Like I switched to David Bailey, but this week there was just something about that comment that he made to reporters. Oh, was it yesterday where they asked him about the visit that he had with the Jets? So David Bailey was supposed to have a top 30 visit with the New York Jets. That was canceled. Of course, General Manager Darren Moji for the Jets said, don't read into that. Initially, I said, I'm not going to read into that because to me, it's mostly says, well, they just canceled it because they didn't need to see anything else. They know he's their guy. Could be used as the flip. They know Arvell Reese is their guy. As we can see the Jets draft room, guys are on the phone, maybe making calls for trades, maybe making call to David or to Arvell. But David Bailey in the interview, and I know maybe it was a little mistake for a kid, but he confidently called Darren Moji Monty, as in the Cardinals general manager in the media availability he did. And something about that, and I get you don't really have to be, so in love with the player before you draft them. You just kind of make the selection as the pick is in for the New York Jets, ladies and gentlemen. Who is it going to be, Arvell Reese or David Bailey?
I'm in a little bit of a bind here because the Jets, obviously, defense was one of the worst in the league last year. Mm-hmm. You look at the linebacker position, if they add Arvell Reese, it's going into a room of Kiko Mauigoa and respected veteran DeMario Davis. But Davis, again, a little older, so don't really have a long-term solution. But you look at the edge room, they really don't have too many long-term solutions there. You have Will McDonald, who has production in bunches, but he's not really good against the run. And then you look at the other side, you got Joseph Asai, who you signed from the Cincinnati Bengals, $12 million a year, 3-year contract. So it could really go either way for this Jets defense.
They both do make sense in their own ways. Again, if I'm the Jets, I lean Arvell Reese. Boy, we're about to find out here. I'm so excited. But I lean Arvell Reese because of the projection, because of the ceiling that he could potentially have. He's the only guy that could end up being a Micah Parsons like. I feel like David Bailey, his ultimate ceiling is what he did last year at Texas Tech. I don't think he can eclipse a 14-sack season. And then obviously he's got issues against the run. Are we already going to have Roger Goodell on the stage here? Boy. The heck of a crowd at Pittsburgh as expected. We're about to find out if it's going to be David Bailey or Arvell Reese. David Bailey, 14.5 sacks last year for Texas Tech. Arvell Reese, only 2 sacks in the final 6 games of the season. But goodness gracious, he has all of the measurables you can imagine. If you're watching on ESPN or on News Channel, not on ABC, they've got the big boards on the bottom. Mel Kiper's big board, he's got Arvell Reese too. If we take a quick look at my big board, I've got Reese a little bit further down. So me personally, the non-premium positions is here we go. We're going to have Roger Goodell. So I got to mute this. Wow. How about that?
There goes my mock.
So I think I kind of, since I released the mock, was leaning that way. So I was wrong. I had Arvell Reese going number 2 officially. Boy, this draft process is something else. Shout out Darren Moji for keeping this a secret. But they go with the polished pass rusher. And listen, as you can see here on my board, I have David Bailey above Arvell Reese by a good bit here, by 3 spots. So if I had the decision between the two, I would take David Bailey. I just felt like for the Jets situation, you're projecting on a player. If Arvell Reese right now may not be what David Bailey is, but in 5, 6, 7 years, he could be, not even 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, he could be the franchise cornerstone. Boy, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting to see how this works out. I mean, let me get some highlights on David Bailey. I mean, he is just an absolute force off the edge. Perhaps not. Oops. Okay, sorry. Perhaps not as stout against the run, and it is crazy how a player that has as many drawbacks as he does goes as high as David Bailey has gone. But here it is. And you can just watch him off the edge. I mean, he's just so quick off the edge, lightning quick. How is that going to translate to the NFL? 6'3", 250 pounds. I mean, poor tackle there. What are you going to do? Just completely, just a game wrecker off the edge.
Get off is crazy.
Ridiculous get off. He's got a great pass rush arsenal. Wow, they did take David Bailey. And so Arvell Reese remains on the board. And so now we look at the screen here. So this again, I have projected a trade with the Chiefs at this spot, although I had it flipped. Bailey, I had Reese going 2, Bailey staying on the board at 3, and the Chiefs moving up for him. And at any moment, this is why I love the draft. At any moment, we can look at this screen and you can have breaking news of a draft. So you can see Alex and I, we got locked in on our draft screen, yes, which is facing this way here. David Bailey, the number 2 pick in the draft. Actually, perfect. I had a banner up for this. I forgot I can do these things. How about that?
Something tells me, very well could be wrong. I mean, they're almost 3 minutes. Something tells me they may be looking for a trade down.
Well, no question. Monty Ossenfort, it's in his DNA to be a trade guy. I think I was talking about it earlier. 2024, they were at 3, and they had a stunning trade going from 3 all the way down to 12 with the Texans, who picked then 2 and 3, got Will Anderson and, of course, C.J. Stroud. Do the Cardinals do something similar? We're used to seeing them make crazy trades. I would not be surprised to see them make a crazy trade right here, because it just makes so much sense. But you know what? We don't know how they feel about Arvell Reese. Is Arvell Reese at the very top of their board, and they see him as that perennial edge rusher, linebacker, Micah Parsons potential type of player that they're going to sit here and take at 3, which honestly, to me, I think if you're the Cardinals, that would have made more sense than had Bailey been on the board. Because again, it just goes back to Are you ready to win now? Bailey, of course, what is it? I think he's 24 years old, and Reese
older,
Reese is only 21. So when you're a team not ready to win, you got to factor in that age difference. How much of a role does that play as far as the guy you're going to select for the Jets? It didn't play a role. They wanted the guys you can see on the screen that likes to sack the quarterback.
Less than 2 minutes on the clock.
Let's see. Yeah, we're getting full screen. So we are under 2 minutes to go as we're watching some David Bailey highlights. I mean, just look at this guy off the edge. He is so fun to watch. I will say, when I watched his tape, and I watched
Nice dip.
very nice dip. His game against Kansas State, I think he had like 3 sacks in that game. I mean, it was fun to watch tape. He was making plenty of impacts, but it did feel like, when they kind of ran to his side, maybe he was lost in the traffic, didn't kind of have those same instincts he did against the pass. But Arvell Reese, I have my concerns with Arvell Reese because I think Arvell Reese he's kind of like the pre-snap wonder. Before the play is snapped, you're like, look at number 8. Look at Arvell Reese out there. He's just a man amongst boys. Play happens, and then you end up catching your eye of number 3 and number 0. Pick is in for the Arizona Cardinals, ladies and gentlemen. We do not have a trade.
Do not have a trade down.
Okay, so here we go. Cardinals pick is in. It's got to be Arvell Reese. It's got to be Arvell Reese. It just has to be. I mean, it could be Maui Noah. It could be Maui Noah. How much do they need to tackle? How much will they go with need? How much will they go with?
I think another question too is
some water.
They spent a first-round pick on Paris Johnson a couple of years ago to solidify that left side. On the right side, they have Elijah Wilkinson. How confident are they in Elijah Wilkinson, who's a veteran, journeyman rather, and do they want to flip Mauigoa inside?
It's an option, but I mean, taking a guard at 4.
It would be a little strange. 3 rather. Yeah, it'd be a little strange.
Yeah, you're right. Pick number 3. We're only pick number 3, and then we haven't even talked about it. Jeremiah Love.
Yeah.
I honestly I just can't imagine that they could actually take a running back right here. Oh man, this is getting real, guys. This is getting real.
I think the Titans are the best fit for Jeremiah Love. I mean, you got to see they had a nice free agency. I don't want to say it was spectacular, but they did fill up some nice pieces, especially in that secondary, taking a lot of ex-Giants, a lot of ex-Jets. John Franklin Myers, excellent run defender with the Broncos and the Jets. You had Daniel Bellinger, who was a solid tight end. Wan'Dale Robinson coming off of a career year, 1,000 yards. So the pick is in, and I guess we'll see where this truly takes us from here.
Roger Goodell, I think he's going to be entering the stage now. We're going to find out. Is it going to be Jeremiah Love? Is it going to be Arvell Reese? Could it be Francis Maui? Now I'm going to put this on mute. Wow.
Shocker. Oh, not really, but we talked about it.
They really did it, man. You know what? They probably had just trade after trade after trade. Let's go back to the big board here. I mean, just an absolute stunner here. I really I understand people were saying it was going to happen. Number 3 overall, not a need. Just unbelievable stuff. Alex,
I don't love it. I'm going to be honest. I don't love it. This is a team that needed picks. This is a team that needed defense. I just don't see them again. Like you said earlier, Will, running back is win now. I don't love this here. I don't.
They have so many needs. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have an offensive line. I really look. I mean, we got to watch him play, right? I mean, if he's here, he's a talented player. He can do everything from the running back position. He can obviously he's great in the pass, great, obviously an incredible runner. He's kind of the perfect running back. And so, but if they don't have the quarterback, how good is the offensive line run behind Paris Campbell? You got to think now the decision is going to be coming soon for the Cardinals to move up a little bit later on in the draft to get Ty Simpson. They're showing the reaction. Is that it? Is that can't be Notre Dame? Is that high school? Yeah, that's CBC, Christian Brothers College High School in Missouri, where Jeremiah Love went. They're very happy about it.
So the Titans, Robert Saleh, do they go defense here? Arvell Reese, is that the one that's falling in their hands?
Right, and so now this board has fallen the Titans' way, where to me, I think if I was a Titans fan, I would have been very fearful of having to make that decision of Jeremiah Love at 4th overall. He's off the board. It's crazy that they just did that. They took him 3rd overall in this draft. Clearly, to them, you got to imagine he was number 1 player on their board. What a fascinating draft! This is a very unique draft. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't think David Bailey and Fernando Mendoza probably goes 1 in most other drafts. Love and Reese or Love and Bailey. I'm not so sure they're going in the top 10 in many other drafts.
No, absolutely.
Let alone
not.
2 and 3. It's made this the whole process interesting because you see these mocks and you're like, are they really going to take? They're not going to take Love at 3. And they go ahead and they take Love at 3. And so, listen, his highlights are fun to watch.
Yeah.
If you're a Cardinals fan, just pop on these highlights and you'll feel better about the value, the positional value, the moment you took them. And that's what I think a lot of us in the pre-draft process love to get so enamored with, so, engulfed with is the fact that there's the positional value, the where do you take them? And so that's why for me, I was like, in my mock draft, I had him trending down, then back up. It's a lot of work to get the same player. How much of a difference is it? Are you getting Jeremiah Love in a 2nd round next year, or are you just getting Jeremiah Love? As ladies and gentlemen, the Titans pick is in. And yeah, that's the debate, right? Well, as far as the value of Jeremiah Love, and forget about it, right? Forget about the value. Watch him play. He's a great player, and I think he's going to be a great player in the NFL. I don't think it translates to wins, though. The Cardinals have so much more work to do. But to be honest, was there any player, even if it was Arvell Reese, even if it was a Sonny Styles, even if it was a trade down for a tackle, was there anything they really could have done that was going to impact winning? No, I not really in this draft.
No.
So you could make the argument that Jeremiah Love would have that biggest impact.
Now, do you make the argument, and I know he's had some struggles over the last 2 years, the first 2 years coming into his NFL career. Do you think that Love is the best player on the Arizona Cardinals offense?
No, it's Trey McBride. It's Trey
McBride. Yes, that's a good point.
But that's the thing is, if Marvin Harrison can take that next step, Trey McBride is probably the best tight end in the league. Him or Bowers, I'd say it's probably McBride. Now you got the running game. Still got questions marked in the offensive line. Maybe this is setting the stage now for them to take the young quarterback in Ty Simpson later on tonight. As here we go, folks. The Tennessee Titans. Is it going to be Sonny Styles? Is it going to be Arvell Reese? Could it be Carnell Tate? I think it's going to be Reese or Styles. We are going to find out what the Tennessee Titans are going to do. I think, here's a great shot of the Titans draft room. If you're watching, this is via the ESPN broadcast, but Robert Saleh looks happy. Now, I can imagine if you're the Titans war room, if you're the Titans coaching staff, obviously, and Mike Borgonzi, Robert Saleh, you got to be happy with the spot you were in for this because you went through all the scenarios. I think maybe a lot of the mocks this week had this scenario where it was Bailey 2, it was Love 3 to the Cardinals. You've got your pick of the litter as far as the top defensive players. Maybe they stun everybody and go downs. Would still be a great selection as well. Titans, what are they going to do? What are they going to take? Roger Goodell, is he walking to the stage here?
I don't know. I have a feeling it's Reese, Downs, or Tate. Those are my 3 that this may be. I don't see Sonny Styles getting.
Here he comes. Roger Goodell to the stage. We will go on mute. Hear what he said. Wow. They went with the receiver. Wow.
I said it. They need to be clearly honest with you, Will. Wan'Dale Robinson, as good as he was last year, he is not a number 1 receiver. Io Manor, he's not a number 1.
Io
Manor, my apologies.
Oh my goodness. I'm stunned right now. So few of the mocks had this happening. We're gonna add the banner here.
Our first real stunner.
This was our first real. I'd say Love was a stunner because I just didn't see it happening. But so as you can see, my mock is completely Carnell Tate. He was just outside of the top 10 for me. I didn't see necessarily the receivers quite as high as some others. I'm a huge Makai Lemon fan. I'm also a huge Jordan Tyson fan, but Carnell Tate is the safest receiver. I think he has the highest floor. He's the cleanest route runner. Wow. Number 4 overall. It's the highest took a receiver since number 5 overall back in, 2017 or 2017 when they took Corey Davis 5th overall. We got to get some Carnell Tate highlights up here. Titans fans, if you're in the comments, let us know what you think about it. I'm surprised. I am very surprised. I thought that, you had my best, the top player on the board to me was Sonny Styles. That's who I would have went with. They go with Carnell Tate, and we just look at this. A point of attack, going up and getting it. And as the Giants pick is already in, we got a Giants fan right here. Yeah. This is just moving and grooving. This draft is flying along. We are only at 8:30. We are already 4 picks in. We've already got a 5th pick in. The Giants going to be Sonny Styles, right? It's got it, but he could also be Arvell Reese.
Yeah.
And for Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles to fall here to 5 and potentially 6, it opens up an interesting situation for the Browns. If you're the Browns, you got to be really happy with how this board has fallen because Downs, Reese, and Styles all still on the board. That could be a spot, Cleveland, for a trade. I've misspelled state.
My question is, do the teams that have picked before the Giants and passed up on Arvell Reese, do they have the same concerns about him that you do? About the pre-snap stuff?
Potentially. Did that? Hold on. I don't know how to. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't know how this works sometimes. Anyway, potentially because Reese, the lack of impact that he had towards the end of the season can be a concern for some teams. But if you take a look at the Titans' offense now, but this I understand where this decision had come from because again, you forget about the positional value because the receiver. NFL contracts will tell you a very highly valued position and certainly has affected winning in ways we've seen way more often than in years past in the modern NFL that's so heavily predicated on the passing offense. Carnell Tate is going to be Cam Ward's best friend because he's going to be open. He's a terrific route runner. To me, I just didn't feel like there was anything Carnell Tate did that was spectacular enough to be a top 5 pick. I thought Jordan Tyson was more spectacular. I thought Makai Lemon had his superpowers of being that elite route runner, that great slot receiver. Don't know if you take a slot receiver in the top 5, but Carnell Tate is kind of the master of all trades. He can play in the slot, play outside, can play the X, play the Z, and he can go up and get it. And he's a heck of a route runner as well. So I don't know if anybody wants to comment, if you're a Titans fan, let us know how you feel. We'd love to discuss it. Why does it?
Maybe you need to remove one and then add that one.
Yeah, this banner's not working for me here. That's okay. We all know Carnell Tate has gone. Boy, this is completely. Okay, here we go.
There's no way, in my opinion, the Giants go offense. You have 3 Ohio State defenders on the board.
Okay, Giants, their pick is in. We've got our first commercial of this draft. It's just been running hot and heavy.
Build the suspense.
Man, if you're Cam Ward, you got to be so excited. We just take a look at Carnell Tate here and watch his highlights. He's always open, and he catches everything. He catches everything, and which is exactly what you need if you're a quarterback like Cam Ward. Cam Ward is that modern day quarterback where he's going to move around. He's going to be a playmaker. He's going to, when things break down, he's going to try to go out and make plays. Carnell Tate has such a great feel for the game. I think it's a big point that Brian Daboll, that Robert Saleh, Mike Bergonzi, Titans brass really liked is his feel for the game, his knowledge of the game. He's going to be able to get himself open in the scramble drill. If you watch the Titans last year, half the time you look at the screen, it's Cam Ward, running all over the place, doing something, which is great. It works. It worked for Mahomes, and if he can make plays, it'll work. This is the perfect type of receiver. And I think we all are just surprised because of the way we had rated Arvell Reese, the way we had rated Sonny Styles as kind of the captain of your defense. but again, forget about where you had the rankings. You just got to think about the player, and he's a great player, and he's going to be a great player, and he's going to make a lot of sense for the Titans.
Absolutely. It moves the needle for them on offense, as I mentioned earlier. They had a couple of nice moves. It wasn't a record-breaking or wasn't like a dynamite free agency. They did have a lot of money, and they still do have a lot of money, but they filled out the back ends, as I said, Wan'Dale Robinson, Daniel Bellinger, some pieces on that defense like John Franklin Myers and Cordell Flott.
Love John Franklin Myers.
Yeah, great run defender. Had some good production with the Broncos and the Jets, but again, I think that was like the sly, underrated aspect is like they didn't have quite a number one receiver, and this is where they get it.
They do now. And so now what this does is, as you mentioned earlier, you are a Giants fan. You've watched plenty of Wan'Dale Robinson, who kind of had to fit into that wide receiver run role for the Giants last year. He's a perfect wide receiver too. He can play in the slot, and I think these two receivers are going to mesh well off of each other. And I mean, now you look at it, just a completely different plethora of weapons that Cam Ward gets to throw to compared to last year when it was Shimre Dike and Alec Ioman, the two rookies, as the top receivers. Now you have two legitimate, high-end free agent and now a high-end draft pick. It's more than anything, it is just simply pouring your support into Cam Ward, showing the way you want to support Cam Ward. We're going to give you weapons. We're going to give you a chance to succeed. And they've certainly done that with the selection here of Carnell Tate. It's a stunner. Not many mock drafts had this happening, certainly not mine. But it is a good pick for the Tennessee Titans, especially when you consider you've got a young quarterback. You've got, a potential, I'd say, on the brink of a franchise quarterback. I think what he showed last year, I'd call him a franchise guy. They're certainly going to build around him. As the New York Giants are going to be going to be making their selection here, and we are going to listen. Guess we're going to have a fan read the pick. All right, here we go. There you go. It is Arvell Reese, 5th overall to the New York Giants. Sonny Styles remaining on the board, number one player on my board. But Arvell Reese, he was either going 2. We thought probably he was going 3. We thought, okay, he's going to go 4. Now he goes 5, and it's to your New York Giants, Alex.
Fell into the Giants lab, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream when we were talking about Sonny Styles. Do the same thing for Arvell Reese. The Giants have not had a first-round linebacker since Carl Banks, and they haven't had one that was really taken seriously on a long-term basis since when they signed free agent Antonio Pierce many, many years ago. And this only adds dynamite to their defense. They added Tremaine Edmonds. I know they obviously sent Dexter Lawrence away, which is a tough send. Still coping from that, but obviously they got the 10th pick, and that's only 5 picks away.
It's crazy. They're going to be coming up next on the board, and you get what might really be the best player in this draft. Number one player at a lot of people's boards, Arvell Reese. And, boy, I am getting queasy thinking about the edge rushers, the pass rushers, the front seven. We've got trade, folks. We've got trade. Breaking news, we've got trade. And the Cleveland Browns have traded to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs have moved up. I had them moving up in my draft. What are they going to do? Could it be Ruben Bain? Could it be Ruben Bain? I think it might be Ruben Bain here. I have Ruben Bain going all the way to 11 to the Dolphins. Wow. So breaking news. I'm going to put that up on the screen, actually. We're going to wait and see what the deal is for the Chiefs, but it is the Chiefs who have There it is. The Browns have traded the 6th overall pick to the Kansas City Chiefs, and the Chiefs pick is already in. The Giants, as you can see, Arvell Reese highlights on the screen. The Giants have just selected Arvell Reese. They have a plethora of edge rushers, of pass rushers, of linebackers on that defense. Obviously, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, at Arvell Reese. Those are just – you still have Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah.
You still have Kayvon Thibodeau.
Yeah,
he's got to get traded.
Yeah.
You got to think he's going to be traded somewhere sometime during this draft, maybe tomorrow night.
Giants need a 3rd-round pick.
And that would make a lot of sense now. Now you can kind of buy yourself a 3rd-round pick with this selection. I think they were thinking that. Arvell Reese, just an absolute specimen. This guy has all the great measurables. He's just the perfect type of walk off the bus edge rusher. Can he put it together on the field? We saw the flashes last year, earlier in the year. He kind of got lost a little bit in his way towards the end of the year. I think maybe like week 6 of last year during the college football season, you're like, all right, Arvell Reese, he's going to be a top 2 pick, top 1 pick, top 3 pick. And we all thought he was probably going to go 2 tonight, if not Bailey, if not number 3, slips down to 5. Giants get their guy, and now the Chiefs, who I thought the Chiefs were going to want to trade up for Bailey or for Reese if one of those guys fell to that point to 4 or 5. Giants, I'm sure, were on the phone with the Kansas City Chiefs and Brett Veach. But they elect to stay at 5 and take what very well might be the best player in this draft, Arvell Reese. What do the Chiefs do?
Oh, man. I had them originally staying at 9 and selecting a corner. Obviously, the big trade for Trent McDuffie, sending him to the Rams, sending some picks over back to the Chiefs. I don't know if they do that now because there's not necessarily a demand at this point. There's a demand for defensive players now that Reese is gone. But I don't know. And also, I want to quickly add to the Giants thing. There's 2 points that we could take away from this. Number one, the Giants are getting a Micah McFadden back from, I believe it was a foot fracture last year. He suffered in week 1 against the Commanders. He's not going to be 100%. He was signed on a 1-year contract. And number 2 is the Giants have stunk against the run the last few years.
Yep.
And as we see on our screen over there, 9 run stops for Arvell Reese. And he's not even he's going to be on the field with Tremaine Edmonds, who was still good with the Bears. He just didn't live up to his contract. So a lot of things to be excited about.
Adam Schefter is talking. And you know what? Normally I would say we got to meet him, we got to listen to him. But what Adam Schefter has done the last couple of years, he's tipped the pick after a trade. I want to hear it. Here's the trade, 6 overall, and in return, the Chiefs get a 2026 3rd and a 2026 5th. I wish they would tell us the number pick it is. We don't know what number pick that is, but they're getting a 3rd, they're getting a 5th, or the Browns. That's to move down just 3 spots from 6 to 9. The Chiefs could go anywhere here. The Chiefs could go offensive lineman. The Chiefs can go. So I'm actually going to show this up real quick. So I do have the Chiefs in my mock draft, which is now completely cooked. I had the Chiefs trading up from 9 all the way to 3 to take Arvell or to take David Bailey, as we're going to hear the commissioner right here, right now. Wow. Wow. And they move up for the corner. I
had him.
Mansour Delane going 6. I mean, how about that? What? Wow. So this was the big move that really, this has been shaked up quite a bit.
Right.
Credit Alex. He did have Mansour Delane going to the Chiefs. I like the fit there. We were wondering what would be more important to them. Was it going to be the front 7? Obviously, the 2 edge rushers were gone. Could it be potentially for Ruben Bain? Commanders picks already in. The Commanders, again, they could do so many different things because there's so many different. These guys are so even on the board that there's so many different ways this can go. So the Chiefs, they have taken Mansour Delane, the cornerback from LSU. You can put that in, set in stone. That has happened. I love Mansour Delane, the sticky coverage. This guy. Maybe not as great last year at Virginia Tech, but certainly incredible against some of the best receivers in college football, in the SEC, in Mansour Delane. I'm taking my stupid mock draft off the screen because who cares? I was completely wrong. There is the big board. I do have Maud McCoy. Vols fans out there, love me Maud McCoy. I have him over Mansour Delane. Of course, Maud McCoy, injury problems, was never going to go this high, but it just shows positional value with the cornerback. It is one of the highest valued positions in the National Football League. The way that the passing offenses are being used nowadays, and it makes sense, right, for the Chiefs because obviously they traded away Trent McDuffie. We knew they had that big hole in the secondary. They needed a shutdown corner. Mansour Delane is definitely that. He's definitely pumped up to be a Chief. It definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I don't think I foresaw them trading up, but this just tells you they're worried about the Commanders at 7. They're worried about the Saints at 8. I had Delane going 8 to the Saints, so the Chiefs worried about that. They go up and they get their guy from LSU, the very talented Mansour Delane, as we get his highlights on the screen.
Now, for number 7, obviously they're still introducing Delane on the podium and whatnot, fitting his jersey. I had, and maybe it's still the case, Caleb Downs. I think either of these Ohio State defensive players could still go to the Commanders. Their defense wasn't great last year, but again, you have that defensive whiz in Dan Quinn. They got a new defensive coordinator. So I'm thinking, get another chess piece, right? Caleb Downs, great player. I know, obviously, there was some concerns at the Combine about a degenerative knee, but I think a lot of teams have dismissed that. But I'm going to stick with what I have. I'm going to say Caleb Downs.
I also had Caleb Downs mock here to 7 of the Commanders. And this right here is probably the most – I mean, they're all interesting picks, but this selection here for the Commanders is so interesting. And the pick got in so quick after the Delane pick was announced. They had already had that pick in. The Washington Commanders, I mean, we got a Washington Commanders fan here in the building. Alex Cockett does an incredible job producing our 10 p.m. show. She is fired up about what the Washington Commanders could do here because they have so many different options at pick number 7. Boy, you're going to town on these Tostitos.
Why not?
I'm okay. I'm
the Giants bit.
Low on carbs. Yeah, I take Sonny Styles here, but it could be Caleb Downs and a wild card, Jordan Tyson. Because it's kind of the same idea like the Titans, which surprised a lot of people taking Carnell Tate. When you got a young quarterback and you don't have the great plethora of weapons, you want a quarterback's best friend. Jordan Tyson, if healthy, could be that. We don't know. Why does this needs to stop. We gotta notify. I wish I didn't read that. Schefter alert saying that the Commanders want to emphasize the defense. Why even say that? It takes away the intrigue. I just get it off the screen. We don't want to know what's going to happen. We want to be surprised. Roger Goodell coming in with some Hall of Famers. Onto the stage in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And Jerome Bettis, the bus is on the stage. We're going to listen in. Shout out Lynn Swan. So Roger Goodell talking about the Walter Payton Man of the Year with Lynn Swan. Commanders. Who are they going to take? Here we go. Bang! Wow, there it is. Man, Commanders, great pick. So Downs. Yeah, I mean, it's a great pick. It's a great pick. I mean, number one player on my board. I mean, what else can you say? Sonny Styles. I could talk about this guy for forever. He's incredible, man. He just does everything. He's so good. I love him. He can captain your defense. It's a great pick. Because I feel like every mock draft that had Sonny slipping outside the top 5 inevitably had him going 7 to the Commanders. This felt like the floor for Sonny Styles. I would take him first overall if I had the pick, but the Commanders, they've been all in on the defense, especially the front 7, as the picks are flying in. Saints pick is already in. Got to think it's Caleb Downs, the Saints, right? Got to think it is.
Yeah, it's tough because I had Carnell Tate go to them. Obviously, he went earlier in the draft to the Tennessee Titans. And the other possible corner that I had, obviously, was Mansour Delane. And those are 2 very pressing needs. But, got to see what that linebacker room looks like for the Saints. But this still would be a very good player to add.
I want to
Caleb
keep
Downs
talking.
up.
I want to keep talking about
Sonny
Sonny Styles, and let's just watch a little bit of Sonny Styles. I mean, this guy. I mean, just lock in a number 0. He is actually I guess he changed his number, so this was before he wore number 0. Every time you watch Ohio State, it's like 0. Look at 0. Look at 0. He's all over the field. He's flying around the field. He's making plays. We got him comped here to Brian Urlacher. I think Louis Riddick does on the ESPN broadcast. And why not? I mean, he's an athletic freak. Blew everybody away at the combine. And he was everywhere on the field at all times for Ohio State. And that's, I kind of came in to this draft season, this offseason, expecting to be like, oh, Arvell Reese, he's everywhere. Look at this guy. And it consistently was Sonny Styles and it was Caleb Downs, but it was specifically Sonny Styles, the way that he had a feel for the defense, the way that he was the captain of that defense. Every play, before plays, barking orders, having those guys ready, the green dot type of linebacker. He's going to have the earpiece in his helmet. He's going to talk to the coaches. He's going to talk to Dan Quinn. Defensive head coach and Dan Quinn. I think this is, to me, my favorite pick of the draft because he is my number 1 player on my board. You get him at 7. I thought the Titans were going to take him at 4. So I would have said this was a great pick for the Titans. The Titans take the receiver. I think a lot of people had these flipped. We have Tate coming down to the Commanders. 2 teams in similar positions where you need a lot of help on defense. You need that wide receiver, that true wide receiver 1 to complement your high-end wide receiver 2, Wan'Dale Robinson for the Titans, Terry McLaurin could argue is wide receiver 1 for the Commanders. And because, McLaurin a better receiver than Wan'Dale Robinson, you could argue the need lower for the Commanders. Either way, they weren't going to take Tyson with the injury concerns. Sonny Styles, heck of a pick. Heck of a pick. I really like it. And he's going to do wonders for that Commanders defense. And now the Saints can do – I mean, it's got to be Caleb. We've been talking about – I think Caleb Downs is the guy here. It's either Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain. And, boy, as a Dolphins fan right now, and so this is what's going through my head as a Dolphins fan, great things. Great things. I'm happy with how this board has fallen thus far, the way it's fallen. The Browns are going to go offensive lineman. You think the Browns are probably going to go Maui Noah. If the Saints either go Downs or Bain, that leaves one more. The sticking point is going to be the Giants, right? What do the Giants do? Do the Giants take Tyson? I would hope they take Tyson. If the Giants take Tyson, that means that one of Maui Noah, Downs, or Bain, which were 3 players that I had circled best case scenario for the Dolphins at 11. 3 players I'd be over the moon about if they could get at 11. So the Giants are – I don't see the Giants passing on Downs, though. Even though they got Arvell Reese, I don't see him. I mean, Downs is just too good.
I don't know. I just don't see him getting past the Saints here.
Right. So we are anticipating. We've been anticipating all night, Alex, and we've been wrong all night. I mean, every pick has been stunning us because nobody knows how this is going to go. It's just this is why we do it. And I want to remind everybody, as a massive fan of the movie Draft Day, I've memorized the film. I've been watching it all off season, all draft season. I've watched it several times today throughout my day. This is what we live for. If you've watched the movie, you know that Sonny Weaver Jr., the general manager of the Browns, he trades from 7 to 1 to take the superstar quarterback, maybe the Fernando Mendoza, if you will, and Bo Callahan, and he decides not to do so and take the linebacker he could have taken at 7, which is kind of crazy because the linebacker was his agent thought he was going 15th overall, maybe to the Houston Texans, as maybe the ceiling for Vontae Mack. He ends up, what is this, LinkedIn commercial? How about that? They got a Fernando Mendoza LinkedIn commercial. Takes Vontae Mack, throws this onto the table, and the sticky note reads, Vontae Mack, no matter what, that was his guy. So every year, I've been doing this since 2014, since the movie came out. As a Dolphins fan, you can see the logo on my heart, on my shirt here. I have a player named that is my no matter what guy, if you will, to the Dolphins at 11. And I wrote this player's name down, but there's 3 guys on the board that I really debated for this, and they're still here on the board. So really excited. I'm not going to reveal it until after the Dolphins pick. Stick around. You're going to have my reaction for the Dolphins pick, which is going to be a reaction. There always is a reaction. I'm really excited here. I like the way this board is falling. Boy, Ruben Bain in a Dolphins uniform would look really nice. But the Saints, they're on the clock. The biggest story of the day was the Chiefs. I would say the Chiefs moving up from 9 to 6, taking the cornerback from LSU, Mansour Delane. Of course, Arvell Reese falls to 5. The Giants, they swoop him up. Credit Peter Schrager. He had that in his mock.
Yeah.
Giants taking Reese at 5. Cardinals going with Jeremiah Love. So you know what? Let's do this right now. Let's put this on the screen. I love ESPN does a great job. This is just a good feel for the board. Sonny Styles obviously going to the Commanders at the last pick. Arvell Reese going 5th. And then we've talked about it a lot. Carnell Tate. The big story for us in Chattanooga, Titans, Carnell Tate, surprising a lot of people. And the receiver, it can help that offense.
Yeah, it takes it to new levels, as we've previously talked about. It takes it to new levels. You had some pieces there, but Carnell Tate, immediate number one option, and a safe pick, as you have mentioned.
Steve Banks says, interesting pick by Tennessee, could have traded down and got him. It's an interesting debate. And I think that's where you kind of can run into some problems. If you have a guy and you believe in him, trading down, you can lose him, especially when you had teams like the Commanders and even the Browns. I mean, I had mocked him number 6 of the Browns. So I'm not sure they could have traded down for Carnell Tate. We all thought it was going to be the defensive player, if not Jeremiah Love, but it is the receiver. And so now here we go.
Downs or Tyson, that's my opinion.
Downs or Tyson, and I wouldn't rule out Ruben Bain here to the Saints. Roger Goodell making his way to the stage, the 8th pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. My prediction is Caleb Downs. Who will it be? Roger Goodell is on the stage. He's going to tell us. Great crowd there in Pittsburgh. Really is. Wow. Okay.
That was the second pick I had in mind.
Yes. Oh, for the Dolphins, that is spectacular for the Dolphins. Oh, the Dolphins! Now there's pressure on the Fins. They're gonna mess it up. Oh, please! This is exceptional. Jordan Tyson has just been selected by the New Orleans Saints. Unbelievable! I didn't see that coming. With Caleb Downs still on the board. Oh my goodness! Jordan Tyson, my number 1 receiver in this class. I think he is a superstar when healthy. I mean, this guy has all checks every box of a superstar type 6'2", 203 superstar type receiver. We got to pop on the highlights of Jay Tice. I love this man. Number 1 receiver on my board. He got hurt every year. And I mean, people were saying that this guy was going to go. He might slip all the way to 16 to the Jets, maybe even further, maybe even to the Steelers range. And the Saints, once again, just like the Titans, right? You want to help out your young quarterback. You get the high end wide receiver, and that's what the Saints have done. I mean, look at this guy at the point of the catch. He is big. He is fast. He is strong. He's an NFL wide receiver, man. He is an NFL wide receiver. He's got tears in his eyes as he is a New Orleans Saint. He's going to work alongside Chris Olave, and he's going to be catching balls from the Shuckster.
Yes. Tyler
Shuck, the new, young, I guess he's a little bit older for only being a second-year guy, franchise quarterback of the New Orleans Saints gets to, oh, boys, got some saliva there. Maybe get him a napkin. And you know what? I love, if you're a Saints fan, minimalist look, nothing crazy with the suit. This guy's all business, which is what you wanted to see when there were a lot of concerns. The concerns with Tyson were all the injuries and some things off the field, maybe with his toughness. I didn't really see it. I thought that he was out there. If you look at the highlights, he goes out. He look at him extending for the ball. You see it time and time again on the tape. The number 1 receiver in this draft. I mean, I had him 7th overall on the board, and he goes 8th. So it's a value pick also for the Saints at a premium position of a wide receiver. And the early theme, like the Titans, the Saints, their young quarterback, second-year quarterback, let's get him some weaponry. Olave, obviously, The issue staying healthy. Now they've got Tyson. The issue staying healthy. How's that going to work out? It's a risk, but if they're both healthy with Shough, Kamara, if he's in the fold, it's a good offense. And they got a good offensive line too. But we just thought they were going to need – we thought they were going to go secondary with Caleb Downs. Yeah. Caleb Downs is still on the board. And so, folks, I mean, this is it right here. I mean, this is – So now we've got the Browns here up at 9. The Browns, it's got to be CeCe Mauigoa. It could be Spencer Fano. It's going to be one of those two.
It's got to be. I think the Browns have a pressing need at offensive line. DeJuan Jones didn't really perform well last year. But that also puts the Giants in a bind because if they take Mauigoa here, your guy Jordan Tyson's off the board. Mauigoa's off the board. You go defense twice, or you go pick Ione. That's my question.
For the Giants?
The Giants.
If the Giants take Ioane, boy, the Dolphins would just be swimming in riches for their 11th overall pick. I mean, this board is falling to my liking as a Dolphins fan, which is honestly how my mood is always controlled during a draft. What's going to happen with that 11th overall pick? Jordan Tyson breaking down as he heads to the stage to be the newest member of the New Orleans Saints. This is a bit of a stutter. This board has fallen so fascinatingly. And as a draft fan who loves the intrigue, who loves to see things go a little bit differently, you got to be happy with this because you didn't know what was going to happen at 2. You had that moment of surprise with Jeremiah Love going 3. The next moment of surprise with Carnell Tate surprising people going 4 to the Titans. Orville Reese falling to the Giants. The Giants get to add to their defense. The Browns then make the trade, and that made the Mansour Delane pick so interesting for the Chiefs, having to move up 3 spots, assuming that you're likely getting ahead of the Saints. No surprise with the Commanders taking Sonny Styles, and then a big surprise here, 8th overall, Jordan Tyson, the just incredibly athletic as we have his highlights here on the screen. Incredibly, look at that catch. I mean, just jumping up and grabbing it. When I watch Jordan Tyson play, I mean, he looks like an NFL player that put on a college uniform and go play the college game. And so that's why – if he didn't have the medicals, I'd take him at 4. I'd take him at 3. I thought he was one of the best players in the draft if he didn't get hurt each of the last 3 years, separate injuries. But he had the workout a couple weeks ago in front of all those teams. They got a close look at him, and the Saints like what they saw. The Giants would like what they see. They don't get a chance. Like they had the chance, but they didn't take him. They didn't get a chance at 10. Cleveland Browns got to be either Mauigoa or Fano here at 9. We're going to find out. Roger Goodell to the stage, 9th pick, Browns. Wow. It is Spencer Fano. Spencer Fano goes above Francis Mauigoa. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? I would have been happy with him at 11. And how the Dolphins cannot mess this thing up, man. We got Downs, we got Bain, we got top 3 players for me as a Dolphins fan, not counting Sonny Styles. He was a pipe dream, was never going to happen. Number 1, Ruben Bain. Number 2, Caleb Downs. Number 3, Francis Mauigoa. I'd be over the moon with any of the 3. They're two of them are going to be on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, this is crazy the way this board is falling. I'm thrilled. I really am. 9, Browns, they trade down. We saw a lot of the mocks, Browns taking Fano at 6. You had to trade down if you're going to take Fano. So if you're a Browns fan, it's palatable. You trade down. You grabbed your 3rd. You grabbed your 5th. You got some value in the later rounds. And again, where the strength of this draft comes in is in that 70 to 130 area. That 3rd round into the 4th round. Dolphins have 4 third-round picks. But the Browns, you add to it, you get a couple more picks, and you still get, I mean, just an absolute freak. I don't know if I'd call him a freak, but a very athletic, nimble. Nimble is the word when it comes to Fano. He can be powerful. Maybe he struggles with some powerful guys. And I thought he was going to be a good pick for the Dolphins because of the positional versatility. He can play all 5 positions on the offensive line, but he ends up going to the Cleveland Browns at 9th overall. And the Giants picks are already in. We are flying. We're only an hour in.
I want a big boy here.
The Giants are already making a pick. We got a mute. Okay, Giants are already making a pick. Here we go. So there it is. So Francis Mauigoa is going 10th overall to the New York Giants. And ladies and gentlemen, first, before this is your team. This is the Giants. You got yourself Arvell Reese. You got yourself Maui Noah. I had the Giants taking Maui Noah, trading down, taking him at 9. They still get him anyway. He seems like a Jim Harbaugh, a Giants type of guy. Your thoughts, Alex?
I love how the board fell. We've talked about it for several different teams. For the Giants, it felt really well because in my mock draft, I don't know how it was for you, Will. Neither of these guys I had making to the Giants. I had Arvell Reese go to the Jets at 2, and I had Francis Maui Noah going at 6 to Cleveland. I mean, I love offensive line picks. This is the first, I believe it's the first offensive lineman they've taken in the first round since Evan Neal. Hopefully more successful. You could relate it maybe more to Andrew Thomas, but this guy is a plug-and-play guy on your offensive line, and the Dolphins have traded the pick to Dallas.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Is it 12 or 20? Is it 12 or 20? Is it 12 or 20? But it makes so much sense because Downs or Bain, you get it. You got to get either one. It doesn't matter. The Cowboys are going to take Bain. The Cowboys are going to take Bain, right? Or they might take Downs, but it's like either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
Back to back. They're back to back. So.
Oh, the Dolphins traded down to 20.
Downs.
That one stings. I thought it was going to be a one-way move. We're sticking around here a little bit longer here, boys and girls. Oh boy! So the Cowboys. What do they give us? You better be giving us something good for this. Oh my goodness! What do we give? Tell us.
It needs to be like maybe like a second or a first next year because you guys went down a lot and there was still some good players on the board.
Boy! So this is a scenario I did not see happening. I'd always believed the Dolphins might trade down. I did not believe they would trade down if they had Caleb Downs and Ruben Bain on the board. The top 2 players. Those are the 2 best options. No. It was wrong. They're at 12. They're at 12. Okay. We're okay. We're okay. Everybody settle down.
Okay.
Everybody settle down.
Yeah.
I thought we lost one of the 2. We didn't lose one of the 2. Okay. See, back to loving it. Okay. If the Dolphins had moved from 11 to 20 with the board falling this way, I would have been perplexed. Because the board is perfect. You've got Downs or Bain. It's what you need is Downs or Bain. And now they're going to get one of them. And you get the pick. I coming into this, I was going to be thrilled if it was Bain. I was going to be thrilled if it was Downs. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now because now you're going to get yourself the pick and one of them. You're going to get yourself a pick and one of them. What's the pick? I see. Oh, by the way, number 1 rule, I do not use my phone during the draft. There's too many spoilers. Too many spoilers on the text chains, on the Twitter world, the X.com. I'm out of it. We are zeroed in on the live television broadcast happening in front of our eyes. The Miami Dolphins, they have traded down from 11 to 12. Who are they going to take? Are you guys excited in this newsroom? I mean, you guys fired up.
I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness!
I'm gonna stay.
You got to stay for the Dolphins pick.
The Dolphins pick. I will stay.
Oh boy!
I love this pick for the Giants.
I mean, look at my board right there. Number 5 and number 3 on my board are sitting right there for the Dolphins, both on the table. Okay, 177 and 180. What round is that? That's 6th round?
That's like the 6th round.
6th round.
6th round.
I love it. Get yourself some picks and still get the blue chip player.
Yeah, get the
that
depth.
is a Green Bay Packers move from John Eric Sullivan and the Green Bay Packers. They're Packers. I mean, John Eric Sullivan, the general manager of the Dolphins, was in Green Bay for 22 years. I got to drink some water. I mean,
Will is hyped.
you know what? I might have to make a call here. Get somebody on the phone. Get a fellow Dolphins fan. Listen, the Dolphins are the most important thing to me on planet Earth. The NFL draft is my favorite thing on planet Earth. It's all coming together here right now. The Cowboys, they are on the clock. So let's first start with the Cowboys. It's Downs or Bain. We're going to have back-to-back picks if it's Downs or Bain. If either one of these 2 teams, Dolphins and Packers, especially – or the Packers. I feel like the Dolphins are the Packers now. Dolphins, Cowboys, and Dolphins. If either one of those 2 teams don't take Downs or Bains, it would be a stunner. It really would be.
It would surprise me a lot.
Because, I mean, if you're looking at the board here, and here's my board, I mean, okay, the 2 offensive linemen, Fano is gone. Maui Noah is gone. The only guy I can see the Dolphins taking is Ioane. There's no way Thieneman's going ahead of Downs. So I think it's going to be Downs and then Bain. It could be flipped, and I would not be unhappy if it's flipped. I would not be unhappy if it's not flipped. Wow, this draft. I have not felt like this since 2018. I had a crazy reaction to the Dolphins pick in 2018. They had 11, just like this year, and Downs was like Minkah Fitzpatrick to me. It was like number 3 player on my board. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he can play corner, he can play in the nickel, he's the safety, he's cerebral, he's Nick Saban's favorite player ever. He's the blue chip locker room guy. But and then they end up taking Minkah Fitzpatrick at 11. So this year it's like they made the trade. And so it just, with Bain and Downs both being there, I just did not see a scenario where that happened.
I didn't either, yeah.
And it was, you know what was the big sticking point? It was the Saints. And that's why I had that reaction. Yeah. I belted a yes. A lot of happiness for me when the Saints took Jordan Tyson, because the Dolphins were never going to take Jordan Tyson. They're not taking an injury-prone receiver in the first year of a colossal rebuild they're doing here. I mean, the Dolphins literally have needs across – the only 2 positions they don't have needs in: a quarterback. They got Malik Willis. I think he's a franchise quarterback. It's a hot take. And Devon Achane, a running back. You don't need a running back. You don't need a quarterback. You need a receiver. You need a tight end. You don't need a left tackle. Patrick Paul's in there. You don't need a middle linebacker. Jordan Brooks is in there. You don't need a center. So you need right tackle, right guard, left guard, defensive end, another defensive tackle, 2 more linebackers, a safety, 2 corners, another safety, another wide receiver, 2 more wide receivers, another tight end. They need everything.
Yeah, get those picks.
So amass the picks. Why not? I mean, if you, as I have here, if you've got Downs and Bain top, way at the top of your board, there's little separating the 2. You got needs everywhere. What's the difference if it's Downs or Bain? Because you came into the night we would have been thrilled with either one. And so, And so here they have the 2 5th-rounders. They're not 6. 2 5th-round picks to move down 1 spot and still get a blue chip player. John Eric Sullivan, are you making an impression, young man? Are you making an impression on this organization? I'm sure the Dolphins draft party in Fort Lauderdale and at the Wharf or wherever they're doing it this year, I'm sure is having a very happy about this move, as are Dolphins fans across the world. The Dallas Cowboys are going to make a selection. Let's listen in.
Thank you.
I say Downs as well. There you go. Okay. I mean, I would love Caleb Downs. Yeah. And you can, I mean, that's fine. That's fine. But you know what? Ruben Bain is there. If they don't take Ruben, see, now we're in the danger zone for my feelings.
Oh boy.
I got to make myself happy with Ioane, because I would be happy with Ioane because he's a plug-and-play guard. They need a guard. He's going to be an immediate starter. And maybe he was the guy all along. They were going to take Ioane no matter what, and that's fine. But passing up on Ruben Bain is good. That would sting.
That would sting a little bit.
So there it is. I'm going to write this down. The Cowboys.
Because Bain would be easily the best pass rusher on the roster.
It's a good pick for the Cowboys. I'm sure there's plenty of Cowboys fans listening. The pick is already in for the Dolphins. They knew what they were going to do the moment they made that trade to get a couple 5th-round picks, moved down from 12 to 13. I mean, the Cowboys are interesting. You know, that they wanted to make sure they got themselves Caleb Downs. As you can see, my big board's up there. Number 3 on my board. You get him at 11. It's a great pick for the Cowboys. I mean, the way this guy knows the game of football, it's something else. And he's going to be an immediate impact player for the Cowboys. They needed secondary help. They needed everything on that defense, really. And so he's going to fill multiple needs at one because of just the way that he flies around the field. Caleb Downs, number 11 of the Cowboys. And so now the Miami Dolphins are on the clock. And so,
do you see any other scenario?
Yeah, it's Ioane. Ioane is the only other guy I can envision. If you look at the board here, the board has fallen just so, obviously the trade as well, but the board has just fallen with everything circling Ruben Bain, which it took me a while to get to that point, but it wasn't until today when, of course, I mocked Ruben Bain to the Dolphins that it kind of was like, Bain's the guy. Yeah. Bain's the guy. He's been the guy. He's always made sense. And if they can get 2 5th-round picks and take Ruben Bain, I mean, it's – boy, listen, I'd be happy with Ioane. I need to first imagine a world in which they take Ioane, and in that world, Bain doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Because Ioane is a great player, the big guard from Penn State, and he'd be a really good pick. It's going to be great. I think he's one of the safest players in the draft. But Ruben Bain, man, I mean, this guy is as steady as it gets. Probably the best edge rusher against the run in this draft.
Yeah.
I'd say it's honestly unarguable. I mean, if you look at what Arvell Reese's body work, certainly David Bailey's body work, Ruben Bain is the premier edge rusher against the run in this draft. He is plain and simply a slam dunk pick for the Dolphins if they can make this happen.
And he wouldn't have to move because he's from
He wouldn't have to
University of
move.
Miami.
He wouldn't have to move. And what's great, not only does he not have to move, I mean, he's playing in the same stadium. Oh, I thought they were about to come to the Dolphins. I'm as you can see, I'm very nervous. And the reason why I am nervous is because of the there's a player I really want, and the Dolphins have the potential to make me sad. And I you know what? It's April. We're not supposed to be sad in April. This is happy time. This is Christmas Day.
Christmas time.
We're opening gifts.
Joy.
This is a present. We're here
Think
to enjoy.
joy.
They can't lose.
Yeah.
They can't lose. Passing on Ruben Bain would be as close to losing in my book. Damn it! I don't want
and it's live on camera too. So if they
my reaction is going to be my reaction. I mean, whoever it go. I mean, but again, there were 3 Sonny Styles pipe dream. Never was going to happen.
Yep.
But there were 3 guys that if the Dolphins selected, I would be quote over the moon about at 11, and that was Caleb Downs, Francis Mauigoa, and a guy sitting right there, Ruben Bain. So I mean, you just can't mess this one up. And I think with the trade too, I think they knew the Cowboys were going to take, but even that was the trade was so smart because whether the Cowboys take Bain or Downs, whether the Cowboys take Bain, you're going to get the other one, unless the Dolphins were set on Ioane, and you got to be worried with Ioane with the Rams, and then of course the Ravens. I mean, the Ravens that makes so much sense for the Ravens to take Vega Ioane. The Dolphins pick is in. Is Roger Goodell coming to the stage? Here we go. All right, we're listening in. Here we go. Dolphins.
Alabama.
I knew they were going to do this. I knew they were going to do this.
I don't need to tell you notice is the size. He is 6'7", 352 pounds, 3-year starter at left tackle.
Oh man. Wow. I didn't have him till 21. I'm gonna put my stool back before I give final thoughts.
I'm stunned. I really wanted to be happy about a pick. Wow. Build from the inside out. They're not lying.
Yeah, trenches.
Wow. For what it's worth, I had Proctor going 12. Proctor going 12. I had the Lions trading up to take Proctor.
You got half a point, I guess.
Guys, I'm stunned right now. I can't even believe it. I cannot believe it. There was no scenario in which I thought this was happening.
This is a total shock.
This is a total shocker. I don't have an explanation. Caden Proctor is wow. This is the ultimate stunner. I mean, he is about as polished. Not polished. Sorry, I have no words right now. I don't even know where to go. He is about as athletic of a freak as you will find. Not polished, and that's the thing. He's a projection type of player, and so that's where you can kind of see where it makes sense. Wow, he's wow. They wow. I am completely stunned right now with this selection. And again, if the board had fallen differently, if Jordan Tyson was there, if things had gone a little bit differently, and you didn't have Ruben Bain sitting there, you feel differently. Here it is. I mean, I wrote it down. No matter what, I had Ruben Bain. There's Caden Proctor putting a Dolphins hat. I mean, I don't really know. I'm really stunned. I didn't think he was going to be the fit. I didn't think he was going to be the pick. I did not see this coming. I thought the Lions were going to love him. Wow. I mean, this is a complete
shock.
It's a complete shock. There's really not much else you can say here. I wish I had more words. If it was Caleb Downs, I just wasn't prepared for them to take Caleb Proctor at all. I really wasn't. I did not envision him as the guy they had saw. But here's where you can kind of get excited about it. Is the Dolphins have Patrick Paul, who is an absolute stalwart. I mean, he is a franchise left tackle. And Proctor, I thought maybe was more of a right tackle. Maybe more of a left tackle as well. But obviously, he's going to go on the right side. He's not a guard. So what this shows is the sheer lack of belief in Austin Jackson.
Yeah.
Because you're taking a right tackle who's going to just step in there. He's going to have his struggles this year, and I think that was kind of the thinking is like, hey, we're projecting this guy to be one of the higher end right tackles in the league. He's going to go through his growing pains. The Giants fan, we're going to have to say goodbye to you.
Yes.
This has been fun.
Absolutely.
I'll still be around. Alex, AGP, does a heck of a job reporting here at News Channel 9, and he's a great guy to talk some ball with. He got what he wanted. He got Arvell Reese.
I'm going home happy.
He's going on happy. He got Arvell Reese and Francis Mauigoa. And the Dolphins have taken Caleb Proctor. This is an absolute stunner. Thanks for being here, Alex.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure. Anybody in the comments? Anybody else have reactions? Who are the Lions taking? Well, I had the Lions taking Caleb Proctor, so I would have told you Caleb Proctor. Now, boy, the Rams, they could take a receiver. See, now, so the Dolphins trade happens, and it's initially on the screen. It said Dallas 11, Dallas 12. So it wasn't there yet for the Dolphins to pick at 12 and 11 and 12. So I assume they had traded down with the Cowboys to 20, which would have meant they would have traded down 9 spots, which I wasn't thrilled about because Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain were both on the board. And that's where it's so hard to take is like we had Downs, we had Bain sitting there on the board. And that was almost a dream scenario as a Dolphins fan. And so I almost wish they just traded at 20. Proctor probably wouldn't have been there at 20. Boy, they had this under wraps. So you know what? I guess let's get excited about the guy here. I'm gonna throw on some Proctor tape because I mean he's just a mountain of a man, and everybody remembers the moment when he caught a pass and almost took it for a touchdown. Let's take a look at this guy. Just an absolute monster of a human being, and he's wildly athletic. You know what? It's almost like he was maybe the ultimate type of projection type of player in this draft where it's like he might have the highest ceiling of all the tackles, but the tape is so iffy. It's so it's not consistent. It's the lack of consistency in the tape, the way he got beat in that FSU game to start the year. I mean, he was just getting, rep after rep, he was getting beat. But then you watch him in space, look at big 74 in space. I mean, I guess, maybe he can kick in the guard a little bit, but he's just so big that I see him as a tackle. Man, this is something. This is Caden Proctor has gone 12th overall to the Dolphins via a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. The Dolphins added 2 fifth-round picks. And so now the Rams are on the clock, and I thought the Rams, I had them going Fano. Fano goes 9 to the Browns, and boy, this board has shaken up. I'm at a point now where I genuinely can't believe that the board fell as well as it did. And this was 2018 level of board falling for the Dolphins, where you have the guys that won it all process sitting there, and they don't take him. And I knew this would be hurtful. The Dolphins not taking Ruben Bain at 11, or in this case, trading down and taking 12. I'm just trying to get myself to a point where I like the Caden Proctor pick. I'd be lying to you if I said I did. It's disappointing, but I don't like it. I don't like the pick. He might end up being a Hall of Famer, but he's going to struggle this year, and that's the reality. Is that's fine. I think when you come into the draft, especially at a spot like 11, you think about Mansour Delane in the defense, Downs in the defense. You think of all these guys, but the reality is, folks, when you look at this draft as a whole, when you look at the position, the depth of each position, the biggest position that had the biggest amount of lack of depth was tackle. And if you're looking at all the tackles, I think this is the ultimate true tackle in Caden Proctor playing on the right side, which does fit their needs, the Dolphins, with Patrick Paul on the left side, Caden Proctor on the right side, as we see Ty Simpson, whose wait, I assume, has just begun. I don't think he's going to hear his name for probably towards the end of the first round. The Rams are, I mean, at this point, they're going to go receiver. They could take Bain. At any point, Bain could go. But I think it's going to be Lemon. I guess is Lemon. So we're going to find out who the almost defending NFC champion Los Angeles Rams will take. What? What? What just happened? 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 They did that? This draft. This is unbelievable. They just nobody in the newsroom can believe it. Ty Simpson was just drafted. Matt, do you believe this? I thought he was going to go. You know, it's crazy because I feel like last year kind of affected everybody in the way that Shedeur Sanders just fell and fell and fell, and the whole draft process. Oh, he's going to go 13. He's going to go 15. And I didn't see this coming. I'm keeping that. I'm stunned. I remain stunned. I'm more stunned about this than I was Proctor. This is a stunning draft. Let's go look at the board here. I mean, look at this board. Did anybody see this going the way this has gone? I mean, this is incredible. I mean, you start off, Love actually going third to the Cardinals, Tate with a stunner going fourth to the Titans, Reese making his way all the way to fifth, the Chiefs making the move up, taking Delane in the corner, which makes a ton of sense, Styles going 7 to the Commanders, lower than I thought, Jordan Tyson with the stunner going to the Saints, Fano making his way to the Browns, which I think we all saw coming, just maybe not at that spot. They were smart to trade down. Now, we know I had mocked the Giants, but maybe not at that spot. Downs slipping his way to 11 to the Cowboys. Dream pick for them. The Dolphins taking frickin' Caden Proctor, Ruben Bain on the board, and Ty Simpson. 13th overall. The quarterback has gone to the Rams, and if you are Ty Simpson, this was the best case scenario. Because you go to Arizona and I get you got the running back now, but maybe, and it's Mike LaFleur, the new coaching staff. But I mean, this is a dream scenario. I almost get the sense, and this is crazy here, but you have to think that Ty Simpson, because when I thought he should go back to college, I was stunned that he would even make the decision to go to the draft. I thought he needed another year. Perhaps the realization that, hey, the Rams have a top 15 pick. They're going to be picking high. That could be a spot for me to go learn under Matthew Stafford for a year. And now, boy, has this made things so interesting. I'm just stunned for this reason because the Rams, they don't pick this high very often. Obviously, they get this pick from the Falcons, who took James Pierce last year. Thankfully, James Pierce, his situation seems to maybe be resolved. The Rams, their actual pick's not till, 2028? Oh, no, they traded to the Chiefs, 29. They traded to the Chiefs for Trent McDuffie. I would have assumed they were going to use this pick to help make this a Super Bowl contending team, continue to make this a more Super Bowl contending team. If they drafted Mekhi Lemon at this spot, I mean, that offense is out of control with Puka on one side, Kyren Williams, Matthew Stafford. They're the Super Bowl favorites, no question. Now you've kind of, okay, we're worried about 2 years from now, which the Dolphins taking Proctor, you're worried about 2 years from now. You take a projection type player. Ty Simpson's not going to play next year. I'm just stunned they would take a guy that's not going to play next year. And wow. We didn't know where Ty Simpson was going to go. And I don't think anybody had the balls to mock him here. I mean, we were talking about earlier on in the pre-draft process that this could make sense. But I think as we got closer, no one really believed it was going to happen. This is a real stunner. Folks, I mean, could you ask for just a more fun draft to be a part of? What are the Ravens going to do? The Ravens, I've had them slot in for Ioane. But if you look at the board, Let's go over to we got best available. I don't know where that is. Let's just go to my board. So who's still available here? Ruben Bain, the number 4 player on my board, is still number 5 player on my board is still sitting there. Wow. Ty Simpson has gone to the Los Angeles Rams in an absolute stunner. I'm stunned. I was stunned by the Dolphins pick. I'm stunned by the Rams pick. I've been stunned numerous times tonight. This is why we watch the draft. Because the last 2 weeks, all these teams are doing is calling up the reporters, telling them, we're going to do this. We're going to take this guy. We're going to take that guy. Man, I don't think many people saw him taking a quarterback. It's got to be Ioane, I-O-A-N-E, pronounced Ioane. The Ravens need a guard. He's the safest pick in the draft. What are they going to do? Let's find out. Yep. It is Ioane. Good pronunciation by Roger Goodell. Boy, let's take a deep breath for a moment. After all these surprises, we get one that was not a surprise at all. I think I've had Ioane mocked here for the last 15 million years. The Ravens need. I'm taking the I'm stunned off because I'm no longer stunned. Boy, the Bucs are now on the clock. What are the Lions going to do? It's a good question. Tackles are running thin. We knew there was going to be a run on tackles. I could see the Lions going Monroe Freeling if I had to guess right now. So the Ravens, I'm keeping the Rams up here because this is the big news maker. I mean, this is it's a stunner. It really is a stunner. So we're going to keep that on the screen. The Ravens have just taken Vega Ioane, who is probably the guy that has the highest floor in this draft. If we want to put on some Ioane tape, if you want to watch some entertaining guard play, you're going to find it with – and so I remember with the Dolphins pick, the one guy I thought they might veer off of Ruben Bain for was going to be Ioane, and I was going to be happy with Ioane. Did not envision Caden Proctor, and thinking back to the Caden Proctor pick, it's the projection with him. And so you can wait around for a couple years, have him take his lumps, have him struggle. And this is kind of the same deal with Ty Simpson. Obviously he's not going to be starting for the Rams next year, but the Chiefs did it. I don't know if Ty Simpson's on the same stratosphere as Patrick Mahomes, and I don't think Alex Smith is on the same stratosphere as Matthew Stafford, but the Chiefs selected Patrick Mahomes while Alex Smith was already a playoff caliber quarterback. Wow, what a draft this has been. I need a moment to breathe. I've had so much fun. We've been live for an hour and 42 minutes talking about the greatest thing on God's green earth, which is the NFL draft. So we're going to recap here. No surprise with Fernando Mendoza. I mean, it really did happen. I'm still, it's crazy because you project and you talk about individual picks. You might spend one day on this pick. What can happen to this pick if this goes this way, if this goes that way, throughout the pre-draft process over the last 3 months. And yet here we sit, they're just coming one after another, boom, 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 boom. And you got to take a moment to just decompress and figure out what actually has gone down in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tonight. Jordan Tyson, I would say, is the most stunning pick, but the most stunning pick is Ty Simpson. I just could have never have envisioned Ty Simpson going to the Rams. So now the question becomes, is Matthew Stafford, is this got to be his last year, right? I mean, they weren't going to do this if it wasn't. They're not going to make him sit 2 years. What's the point of making him sit 2 years, especially when next year everyone's saying this hugely great quarterback class. But again, it's kind of the thought process. We are a good team. We don't pick early. So when you do pick early, you got to take advantage. The only thing is with this draft, I don't think anyone really thought Ty Simpson was going to go that high. I think a lot of the mock drafts the last 2 weeks had Ty Simpson going to the Cardinals, mostly in a trade backup scenario, back out of the first round. Because there's no other teams outside of the Steelers that you could imagine would have taken a quarterback. The Steelers could have done it. It would have been a surprise, but the Steelers could have done it. And I think maybe that's who you were worried about. Maybe surprised they didn't trade down a little, but it's kind of, weird trading down for a quarterback. If he's your guy, just take your guy if you believe it. But they don't need a quarterback, obviously. They're going to need a quarterback. I thought Stafford had 2 more years. That's, I think, the biggest shocker of it all. Watching Matthew Stafford play. How old is he? What is he, 38, 37, 36? Watching Matthew Stafford play the last 2 years, and last year in particular, he did not have any drop-off. 38 years old. Yeah, wow. It's already 30. He looked like he was 32, 31 last year, was the MVP. I mean, what else can you say? He won the most valuable player. So the team that has the most valuable player quarterback just took a quarterback. It's a stunner. It's an absolute stunner. And it wouldn't be a stunner if we had kind of foreseen this, if we were talking about it, because there were people who had brought it up throughout the process because the Rams want to take advantage of having this high pick. But I just really am surprised that they would not elect to benefit the current roster that they have, especially after the way last year went. The way it ended, they were clearly the second best team in the league, arguably the best team. If that game is in Los Angeles, the NFC Championship, not Seattle, maybe things go a little bit differently. They're definitely going to beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And so everything's different. If the Rams win a Super Bowl, do they still do this? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But but to have a MVP quarterback, even though he is 38 years old, and to take a quarterback at 13 overall, it's something we have not seen before. And it's something that definitely signals a sign towards the future if you are the Los Angeles Rams. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick is in. We've been saying edge rusher for a while. I could see them going Kenyon Sadiq. If you're the Bucs, you got to take Ruben Bain, man. That's a steal. I feel like the Bucs always do this. They always get the great player a little bit later on in the draft. You're like, damn, how do the Bucs, how do they get such a good player? Man, Ruben Bain would have been so great in a Dolphins uniform. Reminder, the Dolphins do have pick 30. I am going to have to do a show at 10 p.m. Over there in the new Show 9 studio, talking about Ty Simpson going to the Rams. That's the big stunner. Bucs, 15th overall. Who are they going to take? Would have loved to hear that name 3 picks ago. It's a steal of the draft. I mean, what else can you say? Ruben Bain has gone. Did this pop up before, by the way? Did that pop up before? If it did, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get out of that. No spoilers. No spoilers. I didn't see. The number 5 player on my board has gone at pick 15. The short arms are real, ladies and gentlemen. The short arms were real. It was a real concern. People were concerned. The teams were concerned. The Dolphins were concerned. The Cowboys were concerned. The Saints were concerned. The concerns of other players, like Caden Proctor's lackluster film here and there, like Jordan Tyson's durability concerns. Caleb Downs doesn't have any concerns. That kind of hurts. The Dolphins get Caleb Downs. Can I have Caleb Downs? And they get Caden Proctor. Pretty unbelievable. Still in shock about that. Still in shock about the Rams taking Ty Simpson. The New York Jets are on the clock. All right, shout out Tampa. It's a great draft party. There are a lot of people there, and they're pretty happy. If Ruben Bain was maybe the best case scenario for the Dolphins at 11, Ruben Bain going 15th if you're a Bucs fan, that's pretty spectacular. So let's take a look at the board. Who is available? Of course, Jermod McCoy. No surprise that he's still available. Tore his ACL January of 2025. January 2025, a year and a half ago. And he is expected to drop as teams are highly concerned about his knee injury. The Tennessee corner, who was a superstar in 2024 and would have been a top 10 pick if he had played in 2025. Mekhi Lemon. I'm a big Mekhi Lemon fan. undersized, terrific route runner, can make plays after the catch. I mean, watching him after the catch, he is fun to watch. I would play Ruben Bain highlights right now, but I'm sad. I don't want to. Caden Proctor was really the selection. And where do I even have Caden Proctor here on the board? Pretty 27th overall. That's where I have Caden Proctor. And Colton Hood. I would have been happier with Colton Hood than Caden Proctor. You know what? There were so many scenarios where I would have been unhappy at 11. And I didn't even consider Proctor as one of those options. I didn't think they would do it. It's all about projection with Proctor, and that's what you're worried about. You're worried about a couple of years down the line. Love KC Concepcion. I can see KC Concepcion going here to the Jets. It's got to be a receiver, right? It's got to be a receiver. The other options for the Jets, you could take a safety. Dylan Thienemann's pretty good. I'm a huge Emmanuel McNeil Warren fan. Thienemann, I mean, just absolute ball hawk. Flies around the field. Wouldn't rule out Sadiq for the Jets. And I thought the Bucs were going to take Sadiq, but I didn't anticipate Ruben Bain being there. It was kind of like, boy, the Bucs are in a tough spot for an edge rusher. No, they weren't. They were in a perfect spot for an edge rusher because they got the 5th-ranked player at 15. Congratulations to Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bucs fans all across the world. You've won. I know somebody was asking about the Lions. The Lions are up after this Jets pick. So let's say the Jets go with a receiver. We assume it's Mekhi Lemon. I think the Lions are going to head over here to Monroe Freeling, if I had to guess. I still feel like they're going to lean tackle. Obviously, Bain is no longer off the board. You got to think it's Freeling. I really thought it was going to be Proctor to the Lions. I had the Lions, if you even look back at the mock here, I had the Lions trading up to 12. So this is actually the correct spot for Caden Proctor. He did go 12. But I had the Lions trading up with the Cowboys. Instead, the Cowboys trade up to 11. Take Caleb Downs as the Miami Dolphins go to 12 and take Proctor. We're going to find out who's going to be the newest member of the New York Jets. They already have David Bailey. We would imagine it will be a wide receiver here. Roger Goodell is going to tell us. And it's the tight end. Honestly, as a Dolphins fan, the team has to play the Jets twice a year. I would have probably rathered that than Mekhi Lemon. Sadiq is big. Sadiq is athletic. Sadiq can make plays. He's a red zone threat. He's a weapon. And that's big for the Jets. I thought they just really liked what they had, Mason Taylor. The tight end out of LSU, of course, Jason Taylor's son. But yes, as Mel Kiper, I can't remember his chess piece. I mean, you can move all over the field. You can play the X, you can play a tight end, you can play in the slot. I'll pop on some Kenyon Sadiq highlights because they're pretty fun to watch. He wins the award for best looking guy in pads. I mean, when you take a look at this guy in football pads, I mean, he's got the short shorts. He's just yoked. He's flexing his muscles, and that's the type of player you want on your team. So you can't hate it if you're a Jets fan. And I had him going 15 to the Bucs. I don't even know if the uniform he wears, the knee pads are like so high up. Is that even legal in the NFL? I don't know. He might have to change that up a little bit. There's a lot of uniforms he was going to look good in, like the Bucs, maybe the Chiefs, if they were going to make that pick. Obviously, Oregon, maybe the nicest uniforms in all football. Jets, I'm not sure. I still got the Ty Simpson banner because I need to keep reminding myself the Rams took Ty Simpson. Keep reminding myself the Dolphins actually took Caden Proctor at 12. So many crazy things have happened. Obviously, the Tennessee Titans making a big move and taking Carnell Tate, 4th overall, to help out their young quarterback in Cam Ward. The Jets, David Bailey's at number 2, and now Kenyon Sadiq at number 16 as their 2 first-round picks. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. We have had a commenter, Josh Reese, Not legal. Right. So, okay, there you go. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, so I guess he's going to have to change his pants. Looks good in college, but he can't do it in the NFL. What do you think the Lions are going to do, Josh? I think they're going to go Monroe Freeling. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I think Monroe Freeling makes a lot of sense here. I could see them taking a Blake Miller as Kenyon Sadiq there you see on the screen. As far as my board is concerned, the highest offensive lineman still on the board is, Monroe Freeling at 23 overall in the class. Oh boy, Caden Proctor down there. Damn. That one stings a bit. Blake Miller would make a lot of sense. The tackles are interesting in this draft. They're all over the board here. But we knew there was going to be a run because we knew there was a lack of depth. In this draft where there's a lot of depth at the 60 to 120 range, third, fourth round, that's where the meat and potatoes of this draft really is. There's not a lot of tackles in that area. The tackles get thin very quickly. And they're getting They're getting thin quickly here in the first round. So Lions, I thought they might be worried about that. Might want to trade up and get their guy Proctor. The Dolphins don't let them do it. They take Proctor, and so now Monroe Freeling. Monroe Freeling is a man with a man. I believe he's 6'7". I want to say 315. I was on the dot. 6'7", 315. He only allowed 2 sacks last year and 13 starts across 14 games. And the one thing that everyone seems to bring up and talk about with Monroe Freeling is that he's a yoga master. His mother is a yoga instructor. So everyone's been talking about that because you can kind of see that flexibility. He does a lot of yoga. And for a 6'7", 315-pound man, for reference, I am 6'7", roughly 265 pounds. So he's got a lot more meat to him at 315. But he's way more athletic than I am. Way more athletic than I am. I mean, that guy could probably run a 40-yard dash second and a half faster than I can. And he can certainly block wildly fast, strong, and athletic edge rushers better than I ever could. I was a basketball player. Monroe Freeling, Mel Kiper actually has him 13th on the board. So that'd be a great pick for the Lions. So Josh Reese, you know it. Lions need linemen. Who will they take? We're in commercial here in the NFL draft. 17th pick is going to be selected here pretty soon. And then as we look ahead on the board, 18th, the Vikings. I think a lot of people have had Dylan Thieneman, the safety from Oregon, who I have up here at 16th on my board. He's been mocked heavily to the Vikings, so we anticipate that being the selection. The Panthers have some question marks at what they'll do at 19, perhaps a receiver to help out their young quarterback in Bryce Young alongside of Teteroa McMillan, T-Mac. So the Panthers are in a couple spots at 19. The Dolphins took Caden Proctor, guys. Didn't see it coming. Would have loved a Reuben Bain. But what are the Lions going to do? I think a lot of people coming into the draft process, that Proctor would have made a lot of sense here. But I got to imagine it's Monroe Freeling, the Georgia guy, Bulldog, Roger Goodell. Like I said, Roger looks great tonight. The casual look, the Navy suit. I like it. What are the Lions going to do? I will say also the draft hats this year are great. A lot better than last year. Last year they had like the word mark and the logo and everything. I love the draft hats this year. The logo is kind of like surrounded in like silver. It's got like almost like a laminate on it or something. It's just really shiny. Show off the logo. That's the way it should be. Who are the Lions going to take? Here we go. So it is Blake Miller. It's not Monroe Freeling. Blake Miller, ladies and gentlemen, I could see it for the Lions. If you're looking for durability, I mean, let's talk about this guy, Blake Miller. I mean, I don't think he missed a game in like 7 years. I don't think he missed a game in 7 years. What's the stat here? I mean, 54 starts. 54 starts. Who comes into the NFL with 54 high-end Power 5 collegiate starts? Talk about a big – I mean, he's 6'7", 317. So 6'6" and 3/4. Boy, I'm glad I'm not a draft prospect because my 6'7" is definitely more of a 6'6" and 3/4 and 3/4. And I didn't need that broadcasted to the world, but I guess it is here anyway. Blake Miller, I mean, this guy doesn't get hurt. He is an absolute warrior, and he loves football. So Monroe Freeling going below Blake Miller, but if you're the Lions, love to see what Josh Reese, our resident Lions fan. If anybody else wants to comment, if you got your team coming up, please comment. Please interact. I love interaction. I love talking to people. I love talking ball. Congratulations to Blake Miller. Mr. Clemson, who is now a Detroit Lion, is going to slide right in there. And so what I think what was good if you're the Lions is that Penei Sewell can kind of play left or right tackle. He's been at the right tackle spot. Might they move him to left tackle? Well, now you got a guy, Miller, who can play right tackle and played right tackle for most of his career. So I think, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because now you can move Penei Sewell, who might be the best offensive lineman in all of football, to left tackle, right tackle now, Blake Miller. And here we go, Vikings. I'm going to assume it's Dylan Thieneman, but we're going to find out here. Oh, yes. Oh, I got to do it. I am a Gator. Watch a lot of Caleb Banks. Boy, is this guy a man that wrecks havoc. Wow. That's a stunner right there, folks. We got a stunner. Another stunner. This draft's been great. Caleb Banks, I thought he could be there in the third. And there we go. Caleb Banks just went 18th to the Minnesota Vikings. They don't take the safety. They don't take Dylan Thieneman. They don't take Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. They don't take any other defensive lineman. They take Caleb Banks. And Caleb Banks didn't even make the top 50. Wait, never mind. Sorry. He's 40. I'm sorry. I knew I gave Caleb Banks some more love than that. I had him higher than a lot of teams, a lot of people. I mean, I didn't see many mock drafts with Caleb Banks going. So here's the thing with Caleb Banks. A lot like other players in this draft, the injury concerns. I mean, he was hurt all last year, played about 2 or 3 games, but when he did play, Gator fans knew he was on the field. I'll tell you that. And that's what you're looking for. And so I would have been thrilled with Caleb Banks at 43 to the Dolphins, even 30 to the Dolphins. I didn't see it happening. But wow, the Vikings at 18 get the big defensive lineman. So the Lions take Blake Miller, the durable tackle from Clemson, as the Minnesota Vikings get their guy Caleb Banks from the University of Florida. I did graduate from the University of Florida. I did watch Caleb Banks play a ton. I forgot it. Forgot an S. Can I edit this? Not the best with this system here, I'll be honest. I forgot an S. There we go. Caleb Banks has gone 18 to the Vikings. The Panthers are on the clock, and the Panthers board has fallen very nicely for them. We got a show coming up here in 6 minutes. I might have to go do a show. All right, so I think we're going to take a brief break. I'm going to come back for the Dolphins pick. Don't worry. The Dolphins are picking at 30. Cowboys got to pick up. I'm going to be locked in, but I got a show to do, unfortunately. We're going to be talking about what has transpired in this draft in the Sportscast here on Fox Chattanooga, coming up at 10 o'clock. Ty Simpson is the big story. He goes 13. Obviously, Carnell Tate to the Titans. And the Tennessee players, Colton Hood and Jermod McCoy, remain on the board. Jermod McCoy I had mocked at 30 to the Dolphins. I would be thrilled if he were the pick at 30. I'm not getting any hopes up after what I witnessed the Dolphins do. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. So have a great night. Good luck to the Lions. I'm not sure. I don't know how to pause this. I guess I'm just going to have to end it. Oh, I guess I'm just going to mute it. All right. So, is there a "we'll be right back" sign?
Yeah.
I'm not the most well versed on this system. Sorry, guys. We're going to take a brief intermission. The Panthers pick is in. I think it's going to be Mekhi Lemon, but I could be wrong. Boys and girls, we're back. Oh, we're so back. Just did the 10 p.m. sportscast. As you can see, we've got a wardrobe change since before when I was wearing my Dolphins floral. I am now wearing my black suit with the red tie. Feels a little drafty. You know, if I was going to get drafted, maybe this is what I would wear. Probably not, but maybe. It's a draft day option. Okay, so we got some things to talk about here. I have been working on the sportscast. I've been locked in. I've been following what's been going on. Let's get to the picks here. Let's talk about some of the picks that I was inactive for the last few minutes. And the big one right here. How about the Philadelphia Eagles, ladies and gentlemen, making the move? We knew Howie was going to do this, right? There wasn't going to be a draft without Howie Roseman making a move, and that's what he does. And it's a little surprising that it's from the Cowboys, a interdivisional trade. We saw that happen in 2021 when they flipped spots for Devontae Smith and Micah Parsons. This one, Cowboys ended with Malachi Lawrence, which I think we all saw coming for the Cowboys. You know what? Let's mute real quick. Bears are on the clock. What are the Bears going to do right here? Dylan Dieneman, heck of a pick right there. Chicago. I think he was the best player still left on my board. I had him, I think it was 18th. And so here we go. So Akeem Mesidor, Maxi Hanator. Maxi Hanator is such a fascinating case. The hometown team, the Pittsburgh Steelers there in Pittsburgh, Takey Hanator. I mean, this guy didn't know football 3 years ago. I mean, he's a mammoth of a man, absolute athletic freak. For him to have played as well as he did, Hanator, the last 2 years at Arizona State, specifically last year at 6'5", 320, I mean, pretty amazing stuff with the sheer lack of football he has experienced over the last couple of years. Coming from Africa, coming from Nigeria, didn't know anything about football. Now he's a first-round draft pick, 21st overall to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Akeem Mesidor, obviously everyone talks about the age, 25 years old. He goes to Miami. He goes to the Chargers, who needed an edge rusher, needed a run stopper. I thought they might go Keldrick Falk. Well, Mesidor kind of can do it all. Many different traits to his game. Can rush the passer, can stop the run. As Malachi Lawrence is the biggest riser of this draft. A couple of weeks ago, this guy's a second-round pick. This guy's a mid-second-round pick. Maybe he's even there in the third round. Now, I think we all kind of knew the last couple of days that he was going to be the Cowboys guys. Dylan Dieneman's got the shades on at night, indoors. That's an interesting call from Dylan Dieneman wearing the sunglasses. Malachi Lawrence went 23 to the Cowboys. Missed this one. I'm going to be honest, folks. I'm seeing this for the first time. I was in the studio doing the sportscast. Hopefully you tuned in on Fox Chattanooga. Darn. I like KC Concepcion. I would have loved him to be available at 30 to the Dolphins, but that's a heck of a pick for the Browns. We kind of knew that they were going to be tackle early, receiver late. Maybe you flip that if it's Carnell Tate. He wasn't there for the Browns. That's why they traded down to get themselves Spencer Fano at 9. They, of course, then take KC Concepcion, who is a heck of a route runner. Glad, honestly, he's not here on the board for the Buffalo Bills, who have just traded the pick. Breaking news. The Houston Texans have moved up, I believe that's 2 spots from 28 to 26. And we'll see what they give up. The Texans move up 2 spots from 28 to 26. Dylan Dieneman is the selection for the Chicago Bears. And this is a steal. I mean, Dylan Dieneman, there was a real chance that he could have went all the way up here to the Cowboys. Of course, Caleb Downs falls. But it's kind of on the theme of the positional value. I think there were a lot of reports that positional value might be thrown out this year because a lot of the best players were at low value positions like a safety. But that wasn't the case. We saw Caleb Downs fall off further than most people thought, go all the way outside the top 10. I did not see the Giants, the Saints, even the Commanders, even with getting Sonny Styles. I just did not see Caleb Downs falling as far as he did. Cowboys will be very happy with that. And then our next safety not taken until pick 25. And then just a quick look at the board here, my board at least. And Dylan Dieneman, KC Concepcion, they go back-to-back. They flip them. Browns take him at 20, take Concepcion at 24. Dieneman goes at 25 to the Chicago Bears, who could have taken maybe a guard to help on the offensive line. Could have taken a defensive tackle. Caden McDonald sitting right there. My 20th player on the board was an option, but they end up going with Dylan Thieneman, the chess piece of a safety, ball hawking safety. He's a tackling machine. He made plays at Purdue. He made plays last season when he transferred to Oregon. It's a heck of a pick for the Bears, with Dylan Thieneman, who some thought might be top safety. I don't know many. Caleb Downs was just so kind of above everyone else from the safety class. But Emmanuel McNeil-Warren still sitting there on the board. The Dolphins, if you're at 30, heck, major need at safety, major need pretty much everywhere on the field. Could Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, EMW, be the guy for Miami at 30? So I'm going to go until pick 30. Once the Dolphins have made their pick, we're going to pack it up. So we're going to go to pick 30. I'm going to have to work on the 11 p.m. show, and we're going to have video elements from what happened in this draft, which we'll start with the big story for the Titans taking Carnell Tate 4th overall, and then the second biggest story, which is Ty Simpson going 13th to the Los Angeles Rams. No one really saw it coming. Texans going to make a pick. Let's listen in. Kalen Rutledge. Wow. So credit Daniel Jeremiah, because I think a lot of people throughout this process kind of projected Rutledge as as just a middle of the second round type of guard, but he's about as clean a guard prospect as you'll find. And I think that's kind of smart to do here late in this draft. The Texans, they didn't have many needs. If you're going to find a need, it was probably going to be guard. Maybe you could argue as a D tackle, maybe some help inside. Their biggest need was guard. So Georgia Tech, Kalen Rutledge, as we do have a trade. The San Francisco 49ers have traded the 27th overall pick to the Miami Dolphins, who are now on the clock. So there you go. This is maybe I'll stick around a little bit longer after. I was going to go to pick 30 when the Dolphins were set to go. Who are the Fins going to take? So good pick, Kalen Rutledge. We're going to talk some Fins here. Let's take a look at the board. Here, so boy, that's, if you can see my cursor, you can't, but I'm hovering. Oh, I don't think you can't see it, but take a look at number 10. Now, I know the injury concerns are there. Jermod McCoy is a blue chip player, a blue chip prospect in this draft. I know there's injury concerns, but to be honest, I would not be surprised if it's one of the two Tennessee corners. I had mocked Jermod McCoy to the Dolphins at 30. The Dolphins now, of course, have traded up. And it's funny, interesting, John Eric Sullivan, the general manager of the Dolphins, had said that he didn't expect the Dolphins to trade up in this draft because they need so many picks. Well, they traded down earlier from 11 to 12, got 2 5th-rounders, so you had a couple extra to play with. What do they give up to move from 30 to 27? That's the question. Is it a 5th-rounder? I'd assume it's one of those 5ths, would be my guess. Maybe even as low as a 6. The pick is in for the Miami Dolphins. Oh, boy, if I had to guess, looking at my board here, if I had to guess, could it be a receiver? Could it be OCJ? Omar Cooper Jr., who I have as the – where do I have him? I have him – wait a minute. There he is. 22. Omar Cooper Jr. sitting there on the board for the Dolphins. The Dolphins are such a wild card in this draft because they have so many picks, because they have so many needs. Who knows when they're going to take who where? Once we get to the late 3rd round, when they've got those 4 3rd-rounders, I think it's going to be a lot easier to figure out what position they're going to take because they would have already taken other positions. Back to the Proctor pick for the Dolphins. I've come to my senses. I think the disappointment of if it not being Ruben Bain or Caleb Downs, who are both there at 11, Caden Proctor makes a ton of sense for the Dolphins for this reason. He is a lot like Patrick Paul, who's their left tackle, and he is a projection type of player. You look at him coming off the bus, that's a left tackle, that's a right tackle, that's the guy you want protecting your quarterback. You watch him, there are moments when he looks like one of the premier tackle prospects we've seen in years. I mean, talking top 5 level tackle prospect, but there are moments where you wonder if he should even be a day 2 guy, where he looks lost. And so I think for NFL coaches, they just kind of want to see the pinnacle. They want to see the flashes. How great, how many times do you make great plays? And there were plenty of times that he made some great plays. I mean, just absolutely stopping guys, stopping athletic edge rushers in their tracks. And if the Dolphins believe in their coaching staff, the value of potentially having 2 franchise tackles, Patrick Paul on the left side, Caden Proctor on the right side, that is an exciting prospect for the Dolphins. And that's how you build an elite football team. And listen, John Eric Sullivan, Jeff Hafley, the new Dolphins brass, they have their work cut out for them. This roster is just not good. Not a talented roster. So where do you start? Let's start with the offensive line, and let's start with the tackle positions, premium positions. We knew the depth in this draft at tackle is not great, especially this point of the draft. We didn't anticipate a tackle being here at 30, and they're not. Ihanachore's off the board. Freeling's off the board. Of course, Ioane went. Fano went early. So with all these things happening, with all these tackles going, the Dolphins had that foresight to understand that the tackles were not going to be there at this point at 30. And even with the trade up the Dolphins just made going from 30 to 27, as here we go. The Dolphins pick is in. Roger Goodell is going to tell us who is the newest member of the Dolphins headed to Miami Gardens, Florida, Hard Rock Stadium, a place I spent a summer as an intern back in 2022. Here we go. I'm going to turn the volume up. Here we go. Woo! I love it. Listen, I would have loved the Tennessee Corners. But you can't be mad about Chris Johnson, man. I mean, you can't be mad about Chris Johnson. For someone who covers the Tennessee Vols, would have been great to see Jermod McCoy here. Obviously, the injury concerns. Would have been great to see Colton Hood here. One of the great celebrations in sports. But Chris Johnson is that prototypical Jeff Hafley type of corner. Long, lengthy, sticky. And when you watch him run, I mean, he's really got it all. I mean, he was dominant at San Diego State. I mean, making plays, making interceptions. You can question maybe some of the talent he played. But when he had to go, they had high-end competition, and he had to go against some of the better receivers in the Pac, I guess not Pac-12 anymore, but in the MAC West, teams that they played, he made plays. And we're taking a look at his highlights here. I'll pop these on the screen, some Chris Johnson highlights. Not to be confused with the, of course, legendary Tennessee Titans running back Chris Johnson. Spelled the same, pronounced the same. But this Chris Johnson is definitely a different player. How did this happen? I'm not going to lie. Some of these people on YouTube are pretty unbelievable. I just looked up a YouTube video of Chris Johnson, and there's already a Dolphins logo in the thumbnail. How are these people doing this? Wow. So the Dolphins have Caden Proctor and Chris Johnson at their first 2 picks of this draft. The Patriots, they've moved up. I mean, let's just take a look at Chris Johnson. Absolute ball hawk. I mean, he's got a nose for the football. Boy. And wearing the SDSU colors. So there's that. This has been a really fun draft. I've had so much fun getting to endlessly react and blab about what's going on. The Patriots are going to make their pick. The Chiefs will be up after that at 29. We haven't had a ton of trades, but we've had a good amount here in the back end. Niners moving down from 27 to 30. Texans moving up from 28 to 26. And it looks like the Bills have traded with the Patriots. So the Bills have seemingly forfeit. Well, they're going to go down to 31. So the Patriots are about to pick here. Let's listen. Caleb Lomu is the guy for the New England Patriots. And you know what? If the Dolphins had taken a Reuben Bain, had taken a Caleb Downs, if they had stuck there at 11, you'd have to imagine Caleb Lomu would have been the guy late here in the first round. Patriots, they move up 3 spots with the Bills, who had moved down from 26 to 28, and the Patriots take Caleb Lomo. So we're going to wrap this up here. This has been a blast. We are 28 picks into the first round of this NFL draft. Before we go, let's just recalibrate here. Let's take a look at the board one more time. Obviously, boy, it feels like Mendoza was drafted like 15 years ago at this point. But everyone saw that coming, of course. The big debate, Bailey versus Reese. Bailey over Reese. Jeremiah Love is an Arizona Cardinal for a roster that has holes and does not have a quarterback, unless you consider Jacoby Brissett to be that quarterback, which I suppose bridge guy. The Cardinals, I mean, I think they just figured we're not going to be good next year. We don't have a quarterback. We'll have the running back for a year. He'll be only in year 2 next year when we do get a quarterback. Probably with the first pick in the draft, you'd have to imagine that would be Arch Manning, looking way ahead a year from now. Cornell Tate going 4 to the Titans. The more I think about it, the more I love it, because while I think we're so high on Arvell Reese, we're so high on Caleb Downs and Sonny Styles and those Ohio State defensive guys, you kind of forgot about the Ohio State wide receiver, and Cornell Tate is going to be Cam Ward's best friend because he's got such a feel for the game of football. He's going to find himself open when Cam Ward runs around, and he's going to be the number one weapon for sure in Tennessee. Arvell Reese, great pick by the Giants. He fell in their laps. Mansour Delane via a trade up, a shutdown corner. That's your Trent McDuffie replacement right there. It's pretty darn good if you're Brett Veach and the Kansas City Chiefs. Sonny Styles goes 7 to the Commanders. Jordan Tyson, a stunner. I mean, I kind of brought his name up, but I really did not. With Caleb Downs, Ruben Bain still on the board there for the Saints, that they would actually do that, take Jordan Tyson, who I love, but again, has the durability concern. Spencer Fano just made a lot of sense for the Browns, especially via the trade down. Francis Mauigoa. Love Francis. Would have loved to see him in a Dolphins uniform. Not to be, but a great pick nonetheless for the New York Giants, as Caleb Downs might be the best pick in this draft. I mean, 11th overall. Again, reminds me a lot of when Minka fell 11 to the Dolphins. They had the same chance here. They traded down with the Cowboys. Dallas, we had a feeling Malachi Lawrence was going to be their guy. And luckily for Cowboys fans, I mean, he probably was going to be at 12, if not for Bain, I guess, if they had traded up. But the interesting for Dallas to give up those 2 fifth-round picks to ensure that they would lock in their guy, Caleb Downs. It's worth the 2 fifths for a guy like Downs, who I have 3rd on my board. Caden Proctor, a lot is going to be discussed about this pick for the Dolphins, especially with Ruben Bain on the board, especially when you had 11 and you had both Downs and Bain sitting there for a team that just needs pieces everywhere. But they're going to build it through the ground up. They're going to build it on the inside out. It was going to be about a physical offensive line, and Caden Proctor is as physical as they come. Maybe some questions with the motor, maybe some questions, maybe he takes some plays off. We'll see. I think he can get that fixed up, hopefully, with the new locker room that's being built, being constructed by Jeff Hafley. Is Ty Simpson, the stunner of all stunners. This one really stands out as the crazy pick of this draft. We thought the Rams were going to look for immediate help for this year's team that's going to go chase the Super Bowl. They elect not to. They elect to worry about the future and draft the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford, the reigning most valuable player of the National Football League at 38 years old. Oleva Vega Ioane, you could have penciled this one in before the draft. I did. Ravens needed the guard. They took the great guard. Ruben Bain falling all the way to 15. This felt like a pipe dream if you're a Bucs fan. Picking 15, you need an edge. Everyone knew you needed an edge. I had him taking the tight end Sadiq because no edges fell. I mean, I think the second best true edge in this draft, and Ruben Bain, fell to them at 15. Kenyon Sadiq, the athletic tight end, is a weapon for the Jets, who have Geno Smith, the quarterback, and nobody else. Blake Miller, the absolute durability machine, goes to the Lions. Caleb Banks, love it. The Gator goes to the Vikings. Maybe a bit of a surprise there, a little bit earlier than people had imagined. Monroe Freeling gets a great pick for the Panthers. Saw that in plenty of mocks. He's very nimble for his size. Makai Lemon. This was a heck of a move by Howie Roseman, who has just done it again, trading up with the division rival, with the Cowboys, to get the receiver. And so now the rumors are going to be swirling. A.J. Brown, when is he going to get dealt? And shout out my buddy Will Silverman for bringing this up. It's a good point. If you have Mekhi Lemon now, you've got 3 wide receivers. Could the Patriots not? Because if the offer was on the table, could the Patriots not just say, "Hey, you don't? We want." I guess we're not going to give you a first round pick because you already have the receivers. If you already have the receivers, you don't need to make that trade. Give us less, or we'll give you less than a first round pick or whatever the deal was. Max Ihanachor goes to the Steelers. Akeem Mesor to the Chargers. Lawrence Concepcion, Thieneman, Rutledge, Chris Johnson to the Dolphins, and at 29, the Chiefs are about to take Peter Woods a year ago. Top 10, top 5 pick. Makes sense for the Chiefs. Talk about a freak. Here's your guy right here. Explosiveness, power. Just an absolute force down low. Didn't have the production that he had last season with Clemson. In 2024 season after that year at 6'2", almost 300 pounds, you're like, okay, he's going to be a top 10 pick. He's your absolute perfect defensive tackle. I think everyone kind of digressed on Clemson last year, especially on the defensive end. Didn't have the same production, didn't have the same impact on the game that we saw a year ago. But, I mean, at 29, as the Niners have made another trade, 29, it's a pretty solid pick. Peter Woods to the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, we're going to stay here because the Jets have just traded up. The Jets have traded into the first round, so it's a new team into the first round. The Bills, again, the Bills are picking 39. The Jets, okay, we'll stick around for the Jets pick here at 30. I promise I'd stick around until 30. Shout out Peter Woods. He's got all the hats on his table there. Love to see that. The Jets are now on the clock. The pick is in for the New York Jets. What are they going to do? I'm thinking it's going to be Omar Cooper Jr. I'm thinking it's going to be Omar Cooper Jr. here. A lot of people had Omar Cooper Jr. going 16 to the Jets. Many thought it might be Mekhi Lemon. Well, they already did get the weapon. How much do they put into the weaponry? Could be a corner. It could be Jermon McCoy. This could be the spot for Jermon McCoy right here. Man, I would have been really happy if the Dolphins took Jermon McCoy. I love Jermon McCoy, man. I clearly, and I think we knew coming into the day that Jermon McCoy's injuries, the knee injury was real. And when you hear it might be worse, could be worse, maybe is worse than Will Johnson's knee injury last year. Will Johnson was, almost Mansour Delane. He was going to go in the top 12, top 11, maybe even top 10 last year, falls all the way to 47 of the Cardinals, has an outstanding rookie year. I thought maybe that would make teams want to go the other way with this and say, hey, if it worked out for the Cardinals with Will Johnson, we'll see how his future goes with the injury. But if it worked out with Will Johnson, I think it's going to work out with Jermon McCoy. He ran a 4.37. I get the lateral movement, but he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's going to be a day one starter. Here we go. What are the Jets going to do? This is a fascinating pick here. What are the Jets going to do? I think it could be Jermon McCoy. Roger Goodell is about to tell us. Pick number 30. Weaponry. OCJ. Man, that's a great pick, man. That's a great pick. Moving up again, OCJ. It's good. It's a good day for the Jets. It is a good day for the Jets. David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and now OCJ. Jermon McCoy continues to fall. It looks like his night might be going into round 2. Mike Colton Hood be a selection for Buffalo, perhaps for Seattle. And I actually did have Colton Hood going 32 to the Seahawks. I'm gonna have to go. I think I might have to go work on our show here. Oh boy, this has been a fun draft. We're gonna wrap it up. This has been awesome. Thank you all for joining me. 95 individuals. You are all beautiful individuals. I love each and every single one of you. I could not do it without you. Could not be here to do it without you. This is my favorite day of the year. It's never not fun. And it was especially fun tonight. It was especially fun tonight. The New York Jets have taken Omar Cooper Jr. at 30, Jermon McCoy, Colton Hood still on the board. Where will they go if they do go tonight? We will talk about it if they do fall, if they do get selected tonight. In the studio that way, News Channel 9, right after the draft. If you're watching on ABC, we will be on right after the NFL draft tonight. Probably around 11:25, I think we'll start. I'll be towards the back end of the show. It's going to be a blast. Whole day is a blast. It's been fun. I'm signing out. Go Dolphins.